though he allows you to come and go, he's kind of given up on trying to control you. He married his sister.
That's all he wanted out of you,
Right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
How long has it been since you played D&D?
2000.
So 16 years. No, it hasn't been that long, has it?
I was there for like 2 sessions.
Yeah, but was it that
Over
long
in
ago?
Turkey, yeah.
I think I got that house in like 2005.
Yeah,
So
I did like
right
a 2
in
or
there.
3
So 10
events.
years ago.
Yeah.
So, and yes, you've been aged appropriately. That's
Cool.
That's correct. Any luck yet? Find the
No, I've been talking.
Okay. All right. So, other than that, what would be your character's favorite modes of protecting yourself and/or Jim? What up?
Oh no.
There it is. So, you want
Oh, right on. Cool.
you want a hat?
I got that.
Okay.
Or T2?
Hmm?
Or 168? So 168?
Yes. If for some reason you have a laptop or you want Wi-Fi, I'll give you the password. If it comes up or whatever, like you see Brad did.
He's a show off.
He has to show off. He's the first. Did you read the thing I put up about the Emerald Kingdom so far on the website?
When did you put
It was a few days ago.
Remind me.
He describes the Emerald Kingdom and where the throne is in Featherfall, high above the trees.
I'll just
the
read it.
living
That's
ground.
We don't care about that.
Let's see. I thought it was pretty good. I know my writing has gotten a little better in 20 years.
Because you're sober?
I'm going to say yes, even though, no.
No.
We were introducing our characters to our listeners. So you would be last. So in order now is Jim,
French.
and his character is Ewan. And by the way, this is in case you haven't figured it out, it's an all elf-related campaign. So I suggest you go to worldofskell.freeforums.net to learn more. And okay, so give us a little brief description of Ewan, if you could, if you remember.
As far as the game, so if you do me a favor when you're talking to the vast people who are here, would you raise a flag so I know the hell you're talking about?
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, and one other thing I would like is once the game starts, I like it if we all, I like it if we all only use character names to refer, like if you're talking to,
Don't use real
just
names.
say, well, Gil, instead of going, hey, Daryl. It just makes it easier for everyone to keep track of who's saying what. That's all. I like it. It's worked real well on
I'm digging it.
Thursdays.
I'm digging it.
And also,
Hey, do I get a phone?
I'm not sure. Not mine.
Yeah. You do on my phone.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
taking a picture.
You don't want no pictures of that.
Trinkets.
I need a.
I'll put it right out there. I got the website.
I think it's not already out there. Okay, let's see here.
Ewan. What you wanted that? You want me to give you a description?
Please.
Yeah.
But more importantly to that, what side does he favor?
Boys.
Oh, here we go. That took all of 10 seconds to go back 20 years. Well, we're on the trailer. Just fatter now.
Just here.
Where's Chikara?
Last time I see you, it's crisping up pretty good.
It's super.
Okay. Hold on. Let me.
What do you mean favor?
Is that for your human life?
Oh, no.
Like
Definitely
your
Elven.
warrior? That's
Elven features with the beard, blonde hair, dish.
okay. Is there anything about your outward appearance that would give away your career path?
Definitely not wearing armor or anything. Soft clothes. Religious influence?
Do you flaunt your status, or do you remain conservative in your status?
Define.
Well, like I asked the prince, for instance, when he's away from court, does
Yeah.
he dress regally? He said no.
Usually,
No. No. No, I do. I mean, he's a holy person.
Okay, so you have vestments.
So that's
And you
24/7.
don't mind wearing those vestments proudly.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Especially Lakemar.
Okay. Very good. And you would say you appear to be a young to middle-aged
Yeah, younger.
individual.
Human and definitely Elven, but human definitely younger.
Very good.
He's got haircuts and stuff.
Mm-hmm. He's grown a little
Yeah,
bit,
he's probably like 12 inches tall.
at least. Do you remember Jim at all?
From Archon. That was the last time I saw you.
Yeah. We were watching Conan in the room.
Yeah, that was 1,000 years ago.
It seems like it. Maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, or 1,000.
So Cobb and I were discussing that Gil, me, and Leo, we were hunting in the area and stopped in visiting Lankmar
Oh, okay.
when you had gotten your summons and you requested that we accompany you to Featherfall
Okay,
as guards, if nothing else.
sounds fun.
And
Sounds prudent to this dungeon master.
yes, so we're both rangers. We're Elven rangers.
Well, you and I met.
Yeah, that's what Cobb said. I don't remember the particular adventures, but
No, I thought,
No, we haven't met. The problem with so many characters, I forget who's in
I remember, only due to my backstory, I remember that Thalon and I were adventuring together, and Cobb reminded me that was one of Smooth's characters,
Right.
Thalon.
Right. Makes sense.
So I don't remember exactly. I'm only a 4th level character at this point, so I didn't play this guy a whole lot.
Right.
But he said that he thought Aelin and Gil knew each other. I couldn't remember if he had met Bard or not. Of course, everyone's heard of Prince Bard. And you being a man of stature in Lakemar,
Who hasn't heard?
you're pretty well known in the realm as well. So
Fair enough.
we so we stopped in to say hello while we were in the area and hooked up for the adventure.
Oh,
okay, so I'll read you what I wrote about.
hang on a second. Do you, the video thing up here, do you have that feed?
I can, if you want to see it.
No, it doesn't.
This is connected to my,
No, what I was gonna do was do something like this.
It's descriptive.
oh yeah, I recognize that picture.
Let me see.
It's actually his avatar for the
Yeah.
World of Skell forums, in case anyone wants
Yes,
to
I
know.
want to listen.
That would make sense. Okay, so here's the last entry that I put up concerning this adventure, and it's more backstory than anything, called The Emerald Court and the Prince. The Emerald Elves, or Emerald Hill in their native tongue, live in the northernmost region of the continent of Nepal. The Emerald High King, Solat, sits atop his throne of verdigris bronze in the highest branches of the great elven city of Featherfall. The city looks over his kingdom, seen above the many tree houses and smaller tree cities that dot his northern realm. The dominion extends to both the east and western shores that lie north of the Bisat Dreshar, or Wold River, in the southern tongue. When I say shores, I mean bank, but they say shores.
It'd be better if you had like a thing where you could do,
I haven't figured it out yet. I know it can be done, but I just,
care enough for the people who actually want to have to find this.
this
Remember this? That bring back any memories? Tell me. Clear up. Clear up. I've waited 15 years for this.
That's the same stick.
Get out the meat stick. Okay, so, even to the northernmost land where ice and snow rule the landscape for most, if not all, the year, and where the creatures that live there have not heard nor speak of elves. Only Solwat can claim he is the ruler and protector of this vast area. Though there are no trees so far north, the widows keep watch for encroaching orc gnolls and birdmen or Aarakocra. Yeah. The Emerald Core is comprised of 5 noble houses, so all elves are treated with respect and equality, irrespective of gender, class, or career choice. The noble houses are of the line of high kings since time immemorial. There has been very little political motivation to change one's station, since the elves live in a perpetual state of socialism. Everyone who can do something does, and those who can't are taken care of until they pass on to our vanguard.
Was he quitting already because he's a Republican? Did I just... No, you're starting to laugh. I'm like, what's he leaving?
Silent Green, rich people. If you're not productive, you're silent.
Okay, until they pass on to our vanguard. Even infirmities brought on by old age are seen as a sign of wisdom for having lived so long. So goes the old saying, quote, only the unwise die before they must, unquote. Wealth is not seen as power, nor is it seen as an achievement. Elves do not lust for gold and treasures. Their true love is the arts. Even an architect or a carpenter is seen as an artist. Community members help each other with everything from rearing children, to building, to agriculture, to the soldiery. Occasionally someone may be chosen by fate or circumstance to do something beyond living an idyllic elven life of learning, helping, and loving. One such elf is a prince of the second house. I'm pointing at you. He is married to the king's sister. In the southern kingdoms, he is
Married
known
his
as...
king's sister?
Yeah.
Oh,
Geez, don't remind me.
Great upper old jaded. Degree.
Yeah, he never gave us about, we get so bad. And we almost were like,
Let's go back. Let's go back to the trailer down the
Of course I love you. Get me a beer.
Okay, more years.
I'll fix the gun.
In the southern kingdoms, he is known as Prince B. In the thieves' camp, he is referred to as Maestro. In the circle of mages throughout the continent, he is known for his relentless pursuit of all things magical. He is wanted by the law of Greyhawk City. He is a hero. With that being said, this elf has been known
Those two
to make
sentences just...
King Solwat cringe and lose his temper. Unfortunately for him, before he was king, he was saved by Prince B from being eaten by Blackout, a dragon who lives on the west coast south of the Elven King.
Forever in your debt.
Solak is never forgotten, and neither has Prince B. The prince comes and goes as he wishes, whenever he wants to, and despite a look of concern from Shalari, his wife, he is allowed this freedom because he has earned it. Until now. Bart looked at the letter with the court's mark and knew if this was a true missive from the High Court of the Elven King, he would need to start packing and preparing for a journey. Finally, he thought, this better be good. And that's where we start. So, somewhere, somehow, there is an emerald, there is an elven calendar. I haven't found it yet. As far as keeping track of time, in the Renaissance calendar, it's the year 3810. In the Greyhawk calendar, it's 595. And those are the only calendars that we need to pay attention to for now. As was just previously discussed, Gil travels or traveled or helped establish the Loradathon Trail, what appears to be, to an untrained eye, just a game trail that traverses along the northern shores of the World River and up till the frozen wastes. Along the way, he met up with Leo. Leo would be a much younger, well, actually, they're almost the same age, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
So how Leo and Gil never bumped into each other until now, is kind of a
Problem.
Emerald Forest is a big place.
Edelin has for the last
Ready for a ranger.
6 years been working to establish a smooth transition of the gray elves who were displaced by the rental sites and nearly died during their forced exit from the kingdom.
On the trail here.
The Lankmar, or the shore south of Lankmar, more precise.
All the smallpox blankets we could carry.
The rental sites were trying to get revenge on the Grey Elves for assassinating their king at the time. And after these elves dragged their sorry asses all the way north, they were going to be attacked by the rental site forces when they were saved by the Hibernians. And the Hibernians provide them with a little more security. They also have inside Hibernian lands a temple which houses the portal where all elves go to live out the until time runs out, I guess, to Arbander,
Where they leave the world of men.
yes, and that portal is guarded forever by the Hibernians. And a real-world example would be how the Swiss have guards at the Vatican, and they're still there even though they don't do that. Because I saw them in person.
The Vatican guard.
That's who guards the Pope. That's what,
Yeah.
It's the Swiss Army.
That's what they do.
They don't all carry weapons
They
either.
eat beef and
That's
drink
nuts.
vodka.
I seem to remember them having pole arms.
Halberd. No, I'm talking about like the Secret Service guys that go with the Pope. The guys who are in regular
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah, they're
unarmed. No, they're unarmed.
Okay, well that I don't
They're
know.
one, I do know.
I'll take your word for it, because you're usually right.
And they probably don't wear the red suits and the.
Man, they just look like
Secret Service.
Okay, and let's see. In Prince B, you have been
I was a Pope. I mean,
Bart. You have been the last time you were around. You were actually ravaged by the blue dragon at
That's right.
Or
I got an
maybe,
idea.
or Paducah, one of those two cities. There was a
Dragon.
huge fight, and you were out on the field, and you were fighting this thing, and you just kept fighting until it wore you down and swallowed you.
Oh, cool.
Having since
I guess we need to
been,
go get him.
having since been,
I thought I was out.
yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but there you go. And
Prince.
Hey, you don't know a bad day till you've been digested by a blue dragon.
They're the intestines.
what's the word? It's called it Lemmy Wings. Those South Park fans, you know the Lemmy Wings.
Just cute.
You know that, don't you?
You the DM hurts himself.
Oh. Oh, I seem to remember a broken plastic chair. And
Oh, that was my favorite. That chair. I've never seen a chair shatter.
It exploded.
Wasn't that down at the,
Yeah.
Trailer.
Common room at Featherfall.
yeah, the common room?
Yep.
That's great.
The pool house.
Okay, enough of this. All right, so
Uh-huh.
Ewan, you received your letter. Bart, you received your letter. You, the three guys that are together make their way to Featherfall. My question for you, Bart, is: do you heed your summons?
You know, probably have to. I do.
Okay. All right. So
Heck, you should, you know.
Be back later.
There's no seal wire.
Where you going? I don't know. It's your brother.
it's a lot more violent than I anticipated.
Really?
Yeah.
You're giving me.
You're the one that said. You're the one that said. Well, I'm trying not to speak in such a way.
No, I said I was going to use profanity around your children.
Oh,
That's what I said.
what?
So fuck it.
Because they ain't here.
That's true. Thank you, sir. Okay, so as you approach the great elven city of Featherfall, it is an ancient tree. The tree at its base, for lack of a better term, would be a redwood. Probably football field in diameter. And as you look up in this tree, all the leaves are the appropriate size, the branches the appropriate size, and there are tree houses. Most tree houses are, I would say, 50 by 50 size, 50 feet by 50. They don't need a lot of room. But there are all kinds of them. So a long tree branch is like a long street with all these tree houses. And there are leaves that have been shaped into funnels or water conduits that whenever water is needed, people can go, instead of to the well on the ground, they go to the leaf. And they can get all the water they want because of the rainwater. They also have some leaves that are bigger that they can put fish in. And they have become, over millennia, very, very good at creating things out of things that someone else might not need or want. So for lack of a better term, they are able to live in a place where on the ground there is no obvious evidence of their existence. If you were to walk along the ground, and you didn't look up, you would never know they were there. This is also a kingdom where tiny magical instances or magical things are more commonplace than anywhere else. So therefore, there's no fires for heat. There are magical things for heat because they don't want to risk burning the tree houses down. There are things that, if they don't have natural sunlight, because most of the, for lack of a better term, farming is done at the very, very tops of these trees. And these trees, the leaves at the very top, since they get the most sun, they are the biggest and the broadest and the sturdiest. And they are able to grow things on there. They don't eat the leaves of these trees. They plant things up there to consume.
Such as lichen and the sort that grows on the bark and stuff like that? Or?
No, I'm talking like fruits and berries, and like you'll have a winery up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really go for, say, corn, but there is a lot of a type of wheat or legume that would be used for everyday consumption. It's not wheat though; it's something else. And I just haven't given it a name. But let's just call it leach. And leach would be the staple of the diet of the Emerald Kingdom because it apparently can grow at the higher altitude, scientifically speaking, with no problems. And that is turned into bread, and it's turned into almost like a tofu, where it can be substituted for almost everything else. And once again, falling into the whole artistic thing, there are certain chefs whose art it is to create or replicate delicacies from other places out of this lake. So at the Elven Court, you have this master chef, Richtov, who can make a deer out of lake, and it tastes just like deer. And at the spring festival, the Emerald Court's great hunter or huntsman or whatever you want to call him, he shoots it with an arrow of light and symbolically slaying the deer, and then that's what's cooked and made up for the
Elven soybean.
or whatever. Yeah.
Great, man.
So
Can we get here about that?
now the common folk, they don't get as much lage. For them, it's more a delicacy, just as is that they can cook like a steak or a hamburger, because they use their magic to create a little like a pizza stone. So that's kind of cool. So as you know where the court is, you know where it's not so much a palace, it's just a series of homes that on the lower branches, which are some 100 feet in the air. To get up to there, there's most of the time there are ladders that are extended down from people whose job it is to extend ladders down, and that's they're called ladders. That's the job. So that's all they do all day is the ladder, bring the ladder up afterwards. Yeah, everybody's got a place. And
That's the guy going for
Ladder duty again?
however, to get to the Emerald Court, you can only get there via some type of magical means. And if you can teleport in, that's great. If you can have a flying carpet, some kind of telekinesis, not anybody can just get there whenever they want. So you all, when you arrive at the base of the tree, and when I say you all, I mean those of you that can't teleport, such as Prince B, or if Prince B, you want to take the poor man's way up, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Because it's like a one-way trip home. And it scares the shit out of the life every time.
Just checking on you.
There's me. And Jack's here.
always pops up right next to it. So we approach the tree and yell for the ladder? Is that how we do it, or-
I'm gonna, even if I could go up another way, I still wanna go up and I wanna see everything as I climb.
Okay. So you're gonna slum it up basically, and they extend the ladder, and here it comes down. It's just basically hemp rope with slats, but it's not like the slats are put in the correct way. Everything.
Don't smoke the rope, please.
Whenever I imagine like a ladder being extended like out of a rescue helicopter or something, it always looks like it'd be hard to climb to me. I've never having climbed a rope.
Are you talking like a cargo net kind of thing? When you
No.
step on it, it goes down?
It's not like a cable ladder. It comes up out of there.
No, they don't have those, or
I don't know.
okay. But yeah, so what I'm saying is these Elven ladders, they're made to where they're really sturdy. Like they don't go like this.
There's no
You walk
give
up.
like a
Yeah,
cargo net.
you just
Okay.
have to be strong enough to climb it.
All right.
You know. Okay.
Well, a couple of rangers shouldn't have any problem. I'll go first, you guys catch.
So you guys are
Yes.
what is there anything before we get too far ahead? Is there anything that these characters want to say to each other before you arrive? Because for all I know, you guys might have some kind of weird secret assassination plans, and the DM is not going to tell you you can't. So,
My only question to Eowyn.
Well, I didn't think about it until now.
Yeah, no.
hey,
There's a coup!
Oh,
man, really?
my job to play a character. It's my job to
That must
play
be
a
number one.
character.
What's it all about? Why are we going to see the king? Do you have any more information than just come?
I will whip out my notice saying that I have to be there, and it's basically a couple lines that say, "Need to see you. Return to Featherfall."
I'm guessing it's okay for Leo and I to join you in
No.
the palace.
Please, I want you to. But have you guys been to Lightmar before?
Yes. We were there hunting in the woods surrounding Lakemar, and since you and I had been acquainted, we decided to come into the town and say hello and get supplies.
So on the way, how far time-wise would it have taken us to get once we left?
If you travel on foot. The Gill has a dog, an elven dog that he can ride.
Then I would have.
You're used
I would have
to
brought
walking
something.
everywhere,
But I would have ridden
have a horse or whatever. Yeah. And what about you? Because here's the thing. Well, on horse you can travel. Again, I have it wrote down. A horse can walk 30 miles a day, and a man can walk 24. So you're gaining 6 miles in a day because you don't have to carry everything yourself. That's basically why.
And then you spend the time you say take care of the horse.
So if you're going to travel by horse, and you're leaving from Lakemar, you're probably going to take the trail all the way down.
Yeah. So,
That's the most direct route.
I mean, even though you're in the middle of the Emerald Forest, that doesn't mean natural predators wouldn't, or possibly on a fluke roll, where you're like, because you're a ranger and you can get with a mod on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes ones show up and it's like, this bear's going to eat you. And
But we're already there, so we know that didn't happen.
Right. I'm just saying that would be the justification for not putting the thing like this versus like that. So you're taking the extra time.
Okay.
justify it all you need to, sugar. Why don't you get one of those cloth ones that you can bend and stuff?
Okay, so takes 11 days.
Okay, well in that time frame.
No, I'm sorry, 22 days.
My goodness.
So almost
it's a moon cycle.
And
Get drunk.
are we still doing M's, Dems, 10 days?
No.
Oh,
If I can't find an emerald calendar, I'll work up a whole new one. But it's not going to be that. It'll be 11 something. That's all I'm saying. So let's just go for moons for now.
fair enough.
And then 30 days in a month. A month. Sorry, a month. 30 days a month.
And you read the thing that I wrote on the GM about.
I'm sure I did.
Well, I've only done the one thing.
Then I read
About the church?
Yeah.
I read
about the church.
the hierarchy of the Elven priesthood.
Oh,
No, he's talking about his entry on the forums
yeah.
about receiving the letter.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have something else to put in there about what the day-to-day activities that go on in the city.
Okay.
But I wanted to wait because I didn't know the structure for weeks. If we were doing 7-day weeks or whatever.
Let's just do-
whatever. It doesn't matter. It's easier for me
For
to figure it out.
the elf, just go by moon. 30 days in the moon.
No, I understand that, but I think there's a different type of cycle that goes on. I think it would be more broken down. Do you not?
The only reason that I would suggest doing it by a moon would be because the elves live so long, it's more easier for them to.
But Lightmar's not.
Oh, you're talking about for that mixed city.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and that can be broke down into 3 10-day weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so while we travel, I tell you about what's been going on in the city and how it's kind of burrowed out in the little groups and the gray elves and the emerald elves.
And you got humans living there as well. don't
Yeah.
But the two elven groups aren't getting along. There's what have you done for me lately feelings, and you get off your asses and stop moping about
Being bummed about your
Exactly.
homeland and
losing
move
every
on.
life, so you get dragged forward, that kind of thing.
Ah,
And humans are just back on whatever you dookie bastards. So. Anyway, but I just want to make sure that there's not anything that I don't talk about that's going on in there because my role within arbitrator for
to the three factions,
Yeah.
mediator.
Exactly.
And you've always been a liaison to the king, right?
That's the deal.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just want to make sure that, that anything that I would have known about City Dungeon Master, that I definitely, but I didn't hide anything.
Okay. And we just talk about our hunting adventures.
Yeah.
And
And I longingly go, man,
as Gil, I just live in the woods mostly with my faithful companion, travel light, and hunt for food, live off the land. My new friend Leo here, he's been a hunter all his life.
same place.
No, we just met recently, even though we both lived in the Emerald Forest for 100 and something years. Apparently that's an unusual thing that we haven't met. Since we don't have a long history written up,
Right.
we're just,
What happened?
yeah. So, yeah. I haven't really been doing anything except trolling the woods. He's trying to marry the Glade Master's daughter.
Yeah, I have no real desire to marry.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not looking to settle down anywhere. I like to travel.
Got my whole life ahead of
You
me.
may not remember this then, so this is perfectly fine with me.
All right,
You,
I'm married.
I was just to say, you had a lady friend. I just can't remember her name was Sasha.
Okay.
And,
You're on a complete one.
right, you met her on the way.
That's not just out of convenience.
No, yeah. You met her on the way.
Okay.
And the understanding, I remember this very clearly, was she said, however you want to deal with this, meaning relationship, is up to you. She said she would accept friends with benefits, or even more serious. And you were just like, okay. And that's where you left it. So, you as the player can decide if you want for that to like have been an old memory, or if you want to have her as a steady, or if you want to be married.
Human?
No.
Anything about this?
Yeah.
At all? Okay. Goblin?
I'm gonna say she wasn't a 10, but she was more like a 7. But then when she got cleaned up, she was an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
You're
I'm describing this NPC.
You're codifying
Describe
the
NPC.
into numerical score. Real nice.
Okay, she's all cleaned up. She's a Cameron Diaz.
Wait a minute here. Ethan.
How's that?
She's an 8 for an elf?
Yeah.
Or is she an 8 for
No, she's an
anything across the board?
She's an 8 for an elf. She would be a 10 for a human.
That's what I'm saying. We know what to do.
You're
Yeah.
even about
Lives she, where does she live?
Blackmark.
Okay.
Well, with the stone elves outside of Blackmark. There has been a community started outside the city walls. And it's actually on the opposite side of the river.
Yeah. I can swim there. I ain't visiting.
That's the thing. I'm not paying the ferry fee.
That's right, man.
It's your leaving half black.
I come from the water.
Nice.
Okay, so now that that little background is out of the way, we're ascending. Before we ascend the ladder, I do remove the saddle and makeshift bridle from my Kushi, and I instruct T-Lash to roam freely but stay nearby. Yeah, she's not going to climb the ladder, but just hang out here in the woods and we'll be down. Yeah. The Kushi is the Elven dog, for those of you who don't remember. And the description says they're like 4 foot tall at the shoulder.
Okay.
So he's trained this dog as his mount, and they're lifelong companions.
Okay. And the name of the dog is?
T-Lash, which is Elven for Savior, because she had rescued him from a slave encampment when he was young.
Nice.
Yeah. So we ascend.
Okay.
We haven't seen you yet.
So, those of you, none of you are skilled climbers. So, all of you roll percentile. Don't roll a 95 or more. So, in other words, just roll a 20. Don't roll a 20. That's all you gotta do. Roll a 20. Don't roll a 20. If you roll a 20, you're like, oh.
I'd like this kind of early.
Fine.
Roll, what'd you say? I'm
Roll
sorry.
a 20. Anything but a 20 is a success. Okay. So, you climb the ladder.
Yeah. You're fine. 11. I get a 9. He an 11.
All right.
And I did not fall on you guys.
That's good to know.
So as you climb, of course, it's your clerical vestments don't make it any easier on you.
No, but I tied them up. I like do like the monks did when they were out in the fields where they, what do we call it from the river?
Don't they tie it like between their legs up?
Well, I also rolled it and like made a skirt out of it above the
Okay.
knee. The name of them.
Interesting. Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I do that. It's not the first time I've had to climb.
Okay. And after you get up 100 feet, there is a stairway that is then carved into the tree, and these are actual steps, and they circle around the tree in a big round and round fashion, and it goes up this center trunk, and then every so often there are branches that you can take to go to different parts. So, and what's interesting about it as you climb is that on the lower branches has kind of like a certain smell, and then as you get up higher, there's another kind of certain smell of these branches.
It's sweeter.
And so they kind of remind you of districts in a human city.
You know what runs downhill.
Your gravity still works even in the elven tree.
That's right.
So,
That's what leads to that.
and along those lines, now listen, you guys are actually smarter than you think.
I'm not sure about that.
The lowest branches, they do have that earthy, must compost, dungy kind of smell,
Dead
because
spores stink.
that is where the
Voodoo?
the best place to have the composting happen.
Because it's shadier.
And it's closer to the ground, and as far as I know, it's more humid. So anyway,
That's your tree. You make it.
We walk over and fall in that.
anyway, and if the elves acknowledge that are working or living there, acknowledge your presence, they normally don't wave; they just do the elven head nod. That's what they do. The Gil and Leo looks.
We're wood elves.
You all notice, yeah, everyone here is.
Okay.
And notice it's slightly different than the looks that you are getting. And in a non-spoken body language understanding way of the elves, his head nod shows more respect. Along with
Because I stirred in my.
a non-language imparted look of there's something about you that isn't full us.
That isn't what?
Full us.
They know you're not a full elf.
Oh,
I
full
think it's
us.
what he's.
And there is no other race that would understand that type of communication than you guys.
Non-verbal. James.
Yes. This is very specific, especially to this kingdom. In the court, Prince V would know that if you look at anyone in court, if you do not look at them with specific intent, you are seen as disrespecting them. Even a look that you mean to be disrespect is less disrespectful. because you actually took the time to put in the effort. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Little.
So a glance is more offensive than staring.
Oh, yeah.
Without actually being, if that's what you heard.
Well, no,
In other words, Cobb's saying, I don't really know how to answer that because I'm trying to be as fantastic as I can in my description.
no, okay.
And it's like if you asking me to play a girl, and I just have a hard time with it because I figured them out and I'm 30 years old, so, you know, that's the way I feel about it. That's why all my girls are fucking Monty Python. Which I don't know nothing. So anyway, but that is the thing I'm trying to portray. Got it.
But you made a statement I just wanted to not necessarily take exception with, but you said the elves were the only people that they could look at somebody and kind of
Understand the Bible.
yeah, see all that, and you don't think that the orcs or
Sure, but it's more overt with other races.
so the subtlety is in the glance where the goblin or whatever might come up and sniff each other's asses.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know in the real world what would be like that. Maybe bees with their pheromones, but that's the closest thing I could come up with.
You mean how the elves interact, or like bees?
Like how the bees know that the queen is the queen because of her scent.
Sure.
And this isn't a scent thing though with the elves.
It's more of a visual.
Yeah, it's visual.
Yeah, I like the non-spoken understanding of
You can tell by
station.
dress and
Even
the way
though we
they
all
carry
respect
themselves,
each
where they're
other,
going.
there's no lowly crabwinkle, but everybody just knows
Yes.
your station.
Except for the ladder guys
Right.
who were left.
Like I said, they're the ones that are slow-witted.
It took you 10 minutes to already be biased against the ladders.
No, he was right as soon as you said it.
This guy.
I just went, oh my God, how in the fuck how do you do that job?
I'd rather run the ladder.
Yeah. What did Pete just say? I'd rather have the ladder job than what?
Compost heap.
Yeah.
No, man, almost you're doing something.
At least
You're
you're
not
working.
You're working. You're doing shit all the different times.
You're doing
all of
shit,
it.
all right.
And you're making something. The ladder guy. I'm already some ladder.
Yeah, but he's got time to pay.
Oh,
You got what you want.
He's got time to spare. Okay, what do we do? It's down.
The ladder guys
are the Walmart greeters.
So now we gotta raise it back up.
I need to see your ladder.
When if the ladder's up, Jesus. What do we lower it? Got it.
Ladder down.
Let me get him good.
Nuts.
I'm post on French floor.
No,
That's good though. It's good.
I just think that would be. Now, I would enhance that job.
Yeah,
If you put me into that job, I'd be making money. I'd be checking all the ladders, making sure none are afraid. I'd find something to do.
Maybe they do
That is the
Most
part.
of the guys are going,
Who do you think you chance that ladder so it doesn't move?
oh, let's see if we can't break that 12 ladder raise and lower today. Can't wait to get to that job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's just, I don't know, we all can do every job.
That's just so the local invaders can't get into the tree.
Most of them don't.
Nobody's gonna come with the fucking emerald force. They're not gonna get to the tree.
Okay, so you climb the steps now, and you're climbing. It's like I forgot how many damn steps it is up in this trunk.
So is it
After the first 100 feet,
Is it
yeah,
range?
now you're going around in a circle.
on the outside?
Yes,
And those,
and
are those carved into the trunk, or are those attached to the
they're
trunk?
carved into the bark.
Man, you
The
don't.
bark is so
Don't
thick
break
that it
sure.
can withstand the
Don't
creating.
tree.
Fair enough.
And there are occasional
steps.
There are occasional, like added on handholds for those that may need it. You can see a place where like two elves are working on putting in a new guardrail just because they Need something to do since Jim thinks they're all a bunch of hoodoo. Fucking healing. Until finally,
How was your day, buddy?
after smelling the sweet smell of the Elven Wine distributor branch, there is a break in the tree, and light that can get in shines upon the green steps leading to the Emerald Court. And waiting for you is Prince B.
Oh, what?
Long walk?
Lovely as ever. How are you, Prince?
Fine, how are you?
Well, do you guys mention?
I'm not sure. Ghislaine Radisson, pleased to meet you.
My companions? May I introduce? Can I do so? I introduce.
Yeah. If you know I don't, you know.
Are you Prince Bart Atlantis? I used to make fun of the name so much I forgot what was really.
Amalaric, but I
He is of the second house of the noble family. He is the brother-in-law to the king.
pleased to meet you.
Bring that up? Where is it get you?
Depends on where we're at.
Yeah, speaking of which, you lady.
You know why we've been summoned? No?
Are you
No
here
more than
on
you.
similar business then?
Let's see so.
How many people were summoned? You don't know?
Less than 200.
Well, it's no army.
You have to say that.
Oh my god.
How many old are more than 200.
More.
I was 50. That sounds like more than 20.
More than 20.
No shit. Turns out
It's an army.
100.
It's more than 20.
Thank you for that. That was back in the day when Cobb didn't put a script in this.
Yeah. The green steps that rise upwards to
I'm trying to see.
the very top of this tree. You know, if you've been here before, that at the top of these steps there are gates, and the top of the tree, if it had been done by a giant chainsaw, is flat. Like it doesn't end in a couple. It just goes and then bam, and this flat area is probably a circle, we'll say like 90 to 100, 150 feet in diameter. So it's
a big yoke.
pretty big. And this is where the Emerald's throne is and the court. So, by the way, there is another person with Gil, Bart, that no one bothered to introduce you to. So, I want to make sure that you were aware that you were ignoring this person. Okay, no, I'm just saying that in case you forgot.
Well, hang on a second. I just don't know the full name and everything.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I thought you guys were done. Go ahead.
No, I
He said
made
he
the introductions, but I just don't know.
Bill and his friend.
I could say, it's Leo, and give a formal introduction.
Mine was Bill and
He
Leo.
has to speak up and introduce himself.
I am Leo Wingathos, Hunting Hawk.
Traveling ranger and friend of Gil.
Who are you?
Scruffy. Scruffy Bunyan.
Okay.
Hey,
There are 4 guards at the top of these steps, all in a line, in front of these either painted green or some type of green metallic material. You would think that they would be metal that has been made green or colored green from whatever process makes it green.
15 and by age.
Okay, perfect.
What do you say?
The metal,
So it's like copper? It's green?
yeah, or whatever does it.
Methodology,
Well, I know copper does.
The elves open the gate whenever Prince B approaches, and you all may enter if you choose.
Yeah, I do.
I do.
I'm ready.
Okay. Your footsteps change sound upon going up the steps because they change sound from the wood of the steps to the steps. The steps are of the same material, but then once you reach the top, the steps, without trying, you no longer hear footsteps, and that is on purpose. The design or the magic of this flooring is purposely canceled the sound of footfalls.
I like it.
And as such, what stands out is if you see or have seen, you've been to tours, and there have been people with metal in their shoes or whatever, it doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't make any noise. Now, where they walk, when they walk, and if they have swords or whatever, that all still makes noise. Something about the footfalls is canceled. And upon entering this huge circle, you see that you can see pretty much from one side to the other, except in the middle. The middle is the house of the king, and the throne is on the opposite side. And the opposite side is the side that faces south. That is the side that looks out over the river. And if he wanted to, you know that he could take his throne, or someone could move it, or it moves by itself, you're not sure, and it could face any direction along the top of this tree. So somehow it's either floating, or it's magically lifted, or whatever. No one's ever really seen it lift.
But we know by looking.
There's nothing mechanical. There's no swing arm that you can just push over like a crane, like a movie camera. So you are escorted. First of all, the Elven Chancellor approaches. And all he's known as is the Chancellor. You don't even know if he's got a name or not. And he says, "I trust that your trip here was satisfactory, gentlemen." And he looks at all of you individually.
Yes, thank you. There's Featherfall. Has the weather been pleasant and rain in equal abundant measures?
He, with a slight ruffle of his hands out of his ceremonial garb, you know that not all is right. And he says, "Everything is as I think our king would like it. All of you need to roll me a wisdom check at normal chances to have picked up on that clue.
And to be clear,
Unless you have etiquette or some other non-weapon proficiency which would aid you in that role.
just to be clear, check is low,
Check is low, save is high,
save is high. Okay, so we need under our wisdom on a 20.
or equal to.
And bookbinding.
I get 16, my wisdom is 15, I have no clue
Okay.
that he's insinuating anything.
And I like it when you announce your rolls just when you roll, saying roll.
7. A little bit out of the water.
I got a 19 and my wisdom is 14.
Okay, so whoever passed the check,
We painters
You-
are oblivious.
you notice that, you notice.
Subtleties of court.
Yes, yeah, we don't know anything about it.
Okay,
Besides, I think they should.
so I guess you're the only one that picked
That's
up on
good,
it.
yes.
Okay. He turns and he starts to walk around the left towards the emerald. On your way there, you notice nesting birds up in the trees. You notice smaller trees that are in pots made of this strange green metal that dot this flat, hard, noiseless surface that you're walking on. You notice elven maidens tending to other plants that appear to be possibly getting ready to bear edible fruit. Or there's even the one nut tree that everyone comments on because it looks like it doesn't walk, but yet there it is.
Now that's something I would notice as a ranger. Be like, where'd that come from?
Okay, so you do notice it. Do you say anything?
May I ask? I ask the attendant.
You ask the chancellor, or you go over to that.
As long as it doesn't take me away from following the group, I'm not going to break rank and
Okay,
not.
that's important. Let's see.
If it's nearby,
Yes, no, it would take you away from.
I'm not going to do that. I stay with the group. But I wonder. I'm going to ask her later where that's from.
And as you keep going around the left, as you look to the right, and there's the house in the middle. The house of the Emerald King is surprisingly average looking. The only way that you would know that it is the Emerald King's house is that it is at the very top of the tree. That, and it has maybe more windows than any other tree or any other house. And
Are the windows, are they covered all glass, or are they just open?
they're yes, they are of glass. And glass is just as rare in the Emerald Kingdom as it is anywhere else on this continent, which means very rare. As a matter of fact, most of the houses that you encounter in the Emerald Kingdom do not have glass at all because that is considered vain, and it is also not. It doesn't let the regular flow of air go if there's glass. Even though you could remove the glass and put screens in. Why do we have screens? There's no why. We're not trying to keep anything out. Even though occasionally there may be a nest of hornets somewhere, it's still like the elves are able to deal with it in a way. Like they're not going to go over and piss the hornets off. As a matter of fact, there's almost always an elf that can come, and there's somebody's job, the hornet calmer. Anytime there's a natural beast or insect that is creating a problem for an elf, there's somebody and there's a way to deal with it without destroying it. Finally, you get around the edge, and now you're on the opposite side of where you came in, and the green metal fencing stops, and you look out over what appears to be the world. You're like 700. How tall are those redwoods?
Really?
Any idea? 1,000 feet?
Some of them can reach up to the computer.
Let's see. Google it, bitch! I am. Redwood.
Height of a redwood tree.
367 feet. According to National Park Service, from a seed no bigger than one from a tomato, California's coast redwood may grow to a height of 367 feet and have a width of 22 feet at its base.
Very perfect. And what I just pulled up in less than Siri did is the largest tree in the world, the California redwood, stands 379 feet tall. And what I was envisioning for this was 600.
And that's all I was gonna say, being elven tree like it is probably 3 times that.
So yeah, let's go for an even 700 feet tall. It's never going to matter, but just to give you an idea.
It's true.
That's over 2 football fields in the air.
How tall is the arch? 670.
That's serious, motherfucker. Have you been up in the arch?
Yeah.
If you're up in the top of the arch,
You're up there with your,
it's
let's see.
not just that
Height of the arch.
It's not too.
The gateway of 630 feet tall.
Wow.
So, you can think of
That's a tall ass tree.
having been up there once.
Now, are there other trees near as tall in the same vicinity as this tree? The reason I bring this up, if we're going along and something that tall coming out of the forest, if that's the only one that's that tall,
Really
really
gonna
gonna
stand
stand
out.
out.
Yes,
Okay,
that's exactly correct.
and that's what it's like.
Yes.
Got it.
So
Understood.
you are able to overlook the river
You see ours from up here, you see the trees and that's in
and atop, and then out, like, not quite at the edge, but almost to the edge of the top of the tree is the emerald throne. And it is on a large pedestal, for lack of a better term. The throne is 30 feet in the air, 20 feet maybe, 20 to 30, somewhere in there. It's wide enough to sit 3 elves across, but right now there's only 1 elf. And it is the elf that has the crown upon his head. And it is not a crown of jewels, it is not a crown of gold. It is a crown of the most valuable botanical thing on the continent. Dragon's breath.
Dragon's breath.
Dragon's breath. It's a flower, and it normally only is grown at the opening of the lair of Dragon's Cave. That's the only time you ever find it. And the reason he has this is because I know Brad doesn't know, but it was taken from that cave all those years ago.
And that's what it's trying to do.
Yes.
Is it like woven?
Yes.
Is it one of those great Roman type that is like a horseshoe shape? Or is it
It goes all the way around.
it's okay?
And it kind of, it doesn't go up, but it kind of flows down up over his long hair. Like, you know how the 80s rockers had that long hair? It looks like it's curly, like frizzy curly hair, but it's made out of dragon's breath. It's hard to, I'm trying to describe it, but it's not like a
More curly hair.
or whatever that thing is called that the Greeks would wear. It's not
circlet.
thin.
Circlet.
Yeah, it's long. It goes long down his front and his back like a woman's hair.
It's growing.
His hair is not that long. His hair is long, but it's not that long.
A flowing natural crown of dragons. Right?
Yes.
Very good.
It's growing.
Almost like a wig.
Yes, except it doesn't have the top.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah.
It's right, you can see the top.
Is it alive?
Yes. And the guards that are there, you see them, they are dressed, these guards that are the Royal High Guards, you recognize them as members of the Eagle Clan. These are a very specific type of elven known as the Blade Singers. These are guys, elves, that have almost become one with their weapon, and when they fight, they can make their weapons make noises, and they dance, and they can fight.
Which clan did you say?
Eagle. They all have tattoos of eagles or eagle representations or wings, and the tattoos are what, if you see skin, it's got a tattoo on it.
Do they have real eagle's feathers?
No, they're just wearing, other than that, they're wearing leather armor. They don't have any eagle feathers, not that you can see. Okay. And the leader, the main hawk guy, the head of man-at-arms, or the elven marshal, you also recognize him as Bear. His elven name is T-Rex, and he has a sword that is legendary, and it's called Talon. And this guy's backstory is, if I remember correctly, he was seeking to,
You said I'm sorry, sword, we recommend a sword, and it's the name,
yes,
and it's Tower?
Talon,
Oh,
T-A-L-O-N.
Talon, yeah. Okay. Whose character was that? Was that?
Umbridge.
Yeah, John, that's right, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
And he gives Eowyn and Bart the nod. He looks at you two and does not nod. And what that means is, I don't know you, I don't know if I want to know you, but you may prove yourself, and then I will choose to know you.
In return, I nod to him and give a friendly smile.
Okay. All right. So the Chancellor says, Solat, this is all in Elven, by the way. There's no other language spoken here. In Elven. He says, may I present your brother-in-law, master of the second house, Prince Bartholomew and Lareth, Ewan Bowser, our representative in Lankhmar,
I'll incline my head.
Relanon, Leviathan, late of the Emerald Woods, and hold on, Leo Endathus. He says it right, even though I don't. Leo Endathus, Hunting Hawk, also of the Emerald Forest. The king looks at all of you individually and then gives you all the slight nod of welcome. He then walks down the throne, gets up off the throne, walks down, and all of you need to roll me your level checks on a 30, unless you have some kind of non-weapon proficiency of alertness or something else. You guys have 30s?
No.
I'm borrowing the Brad's, because you already made a shitty roll off of it. I should get things right. You said level check?
Yep, equal to or less than.
Yeah.
That is like this far away from your level. D30 is usually
Well, I got a
You got it.
29.
Okay, well, this is a house rule for those of you that don't remember.
15.
And the reason that I do it like this is because I don't think noticing an odd detail should be class specific, at least to me, when it's not related to your class. So that's when I have you guys roll stuff. It'd be like if, oh, you notice that he's got dirt on his shoes or something like that. Now, if you had some kind of non-weapon proficiency, obviously that's different. Okay.
Detect dirt.
There are non-weapon proficiencies.
There it is! Hey, the chick's a hello! Hey, Weather Boy!
Give me that D30 back.
Wow!
Would you like me to order you guys some D30s? Are you going to get some?
Do I need one?
Yes.
I have a D30 and it's not.
Are those really nice there in the basement?
Yes.
I should have done that in the first place.
Those, well, you're close enough.
I may have.
Oh, well, here, that's not that bad boy.
I may have 30 or.
If you did.
I know I don't have a D100. Like some people.
Well, we don't want that D.
Check this out.
Oh yeah,
It's not around. That's mine, but
I've got a D20.
I put it in the
Lights
side
are
already, so.
Yeah.
Okay, you can,
That's it.
borrow that, and if you want to get it.
Well,
That's crazy.
Was it just
Anyway,
all
yeah,
one?
these are all. I know some of the.
If you roll one,
And
it's just like
I know like you have.
or just like
Yeah,
slow.
I'm sure I just.
Or goes flat.
Those were the.
It's drop.
Roll one, it's just
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
Red, okay, whatever.
That's it. Hell.
Yeah.
That's not.
You
You guys need a 30? Use mine up,
Okay.
Brad.
We're going up to the game store tonight. I'll pick up. Really?
Where's the closest
There's
game?
one I don't have. I don't know, not close. It's Watson. Game night. You ever been up there?
There's actually, one closer than that, you know where Shogun is, up in, South County?
I go to the game store and buy one for Amazon.
Yeah.
And the shit,
That's,
free shipped.
oh, you do the free shipping, huh?
Nice.
You're so great.
Yeah, I don't.
How's it make you
I
feel?
don't do online stuff very much.
Well, I've always felt.
Well, he orders it at work.
And the important,
Yeah,
well, no, 1 o'clock. Well, maybe we're shopping Amazon on my own.
Just great, right off the front.
Still be doing that.
What did I tell you?
Some
I was at work and there was a girl there that was always coming in and coming on to me and I'm like, yeah, you know, you're married, no thanks, anyway. And then she started acting weird over time and I said, you're acting weird, you're acting like you're on drugs. Yeah, I'm not on drugs. Her husband came back up and he's like, what did I tell you? I said, I don't fucking know. What did you tell me? I told you. I said, she's fucking weird. Get the fuck out of my store. Turns out, yeah, she had some. But I just remember, what did I tell you? I don't know. What did you tell me?
Some dude just showed up at the store and said,
Well, that was her husband.
no, I understand.
She
Did
went
you
home.
know that was her husband?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. You never mentioned that.
We were friends up until then.
What's up with the little foamy thing?
Well, there's a guy that plays on Thursday that has a hard time keeping dice on the table.
Jeez, I just tried to roll it for you to them, and it's like,
So instead of him, like he'll roll, he likes to roll like this. I'm like,
Oh, one of those.
just do this. There. See how easy that is?
Yeah. Who else used to roll like that? Was that somebody you know?
No.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Did?
Fucking dice.
He slams them, throw across the room.
Okay. So
Glory day.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like that one.
Oh, there's 30 rounds up there.
See, they're all over the
he
place.
says,
You get that 14D6.
I don't need one. There's 8 of them on the table.
Chancellor, leave us.
So
That's
wait,
his name.
when, oh, I'm sorry, you may have described it.
No,
re-describe
not his name.
Okay. Just make it. I thought he was calling me that. Sorry.
You have the floor, Senator.
Chancellor Levis. You may have it.
Right honorable jack off from the state of intoxication. Who's in the room, or who's there?
Right now, there's
It's
just
1, 2, 3, 4 in the king and the chancellor.
no. He just told the Chancellor.
I understand that, but before he said that, who else was in the room?
Yeah, the guard.
Fair. That's
Right.
part of
There's
the
another guard that you don't know his name.
Okay, so, and then he says,
Chancellor, leave us.
don't let the door hit me ass, chancellor. And now, so but the 2 bear and the other guy are still there. Right on, okay.
So he then turns to Bear and says, make sure no one enters until I make you aware that it's okay. Bear kicks the other guy and they walk back towards the entrance.
Wow.
So now it is just you 5. He walks over to the edge. I'm just gonna call it the disc. Is this huge flat area. And he's looking out over the southern part of his kingdom and the river, the rest of the continent. He says, do any of you know of the whereabouts of Noble?
I don't know who this noble is.
No, your grace.
No.
Noble is the battle master of Hybornia. His people are the ones that saved our gray cousins from extinction at the hands of the Renaissance. And he is missing. I've had several inquiries about this. And Normally, I would politely answer those inquiries and send the messengers on their way. But Noble is no ordinary human. For those of you that do not know who Noble is the champion of his lands. He is their leader. But he is not their leader because of some birthright or because the gods decreed it so, or in my case, because I was the son of the former king, and that's what my job is. And then when Prince B does the little snort, he says, not all of us can come and go as we please. Normally,
Reason the word matters.
Normally, I would excuse your derision and lack of respect, Bart, but I would demand it now.
No disrespect, not.
Don't bald-faced lie to me either.
I figured you can be able to see up here somewhere. We're driving over the lanes, you can't see him from up here.
He says,
Can't get that from him.
has there been any word from your contacts in Linkmar?
No, no, Grace. Nothing.
I know that the acting regent of Hibernia has sent an ambassador, if you would wish to call him that. He came here challenging our guards, challenging whoever he could challenge to receive answers, and only when Bear agreed to duel him in an honorable fight would he see reason. There was no answer to give him, however.
Does he think you hold him captive?
That was not what I gleaned from our conversation. Because they know we hold them in high esteem. They know of our gratitude for protecting our pathway to heaven. Gil, Leo, welcome to my court.
I'm honored to be here.
In your travels, have you seen or heard anything of Noble, or a person of Hibernian descent, or more specifically, a human male? By this time, he would appear to be old. I don't know how he does it, but he retains his vitality, even though he looks like a very old man, carrying two large curved blades.
His description seems like he would stand out in my memory had I encountered him. Question to DM.
Yes.
Do I know anything that I can share?
No.
I've heard nothing or seen nothing in the forest, sir.
I will allow you to roll a 30 versus your wisdom.
Okay.
To see if you've heard it.
25.
And Leo, you can do that since you guys just recently.
What about the
Attitude.
Okay. Yes, one time in a encounter with a elf that had recently come back from the south, he told tales of a man who was known as the Battle Master, and that he could defeat in combat any creature, whether it be god or man.
now? I'm guessing
Do you relay that to the game?
Yes, sir.
just kind of out of game. Is a recap in order for what the Battlemaster and that culture, how he's became, or whatever his title is in Hibernia?
There wouldn't be any out of game. It would be if you've heard of it or not.
Well, being that the communities are relatively close to each other,
Right, well, that's what I had them roll for.
I thought you had them roll to see if they heard about that person.
Well, if,
I'm talking about the culture of the Hyboria, how they battle their way and
right,
the
and
curriculum
then
of the
that would be having some type of non-weapon proficiency for that. But
Okay.
if you don't have it, then you get a chance, it's just lower.
I liken it to maybe how in real world, I know a little bit about like the Mexican culture, having never traveled to Mexico. I understand some of the festivals and that kind of thing, and that's how I was trying to.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That's what I had them roll for. I would say that they know that there's a kingdom of Hibernia to the west, and that's all. Okay, so the king says, the Hibernian culture is based upon contests. The most common type of contest that they have is fighting. Armed, unarmed, missile combat, contests of skill.
Do you know his last whereabouts?
It has been many years since I would think the last time that I've never met the man. So for me, I know that he was present at. I know he was present. This is what I've heard. He was present at the coronation of the King of Renal. And this was, it's been a while since Renal has installed a new king. But going along with that, from what my magical seers, some more helpful than others, as he glances towards Prince B, the seers have told me that the entire coronation is shrouded in mystery. No seeing, no spells, no omens, no reading of any kind can give us any information on how he was made king. So therefore anything around the investiture of this new king is also shrouded in mystery.
What do you want us to do?
I'd like for you to find him.
And when we do,
I don't have any, I don't know. I've summoned you two specifically because you have exhibited the capabilities that it's going probably to take to solve this mystery. Who else do we know that is as capable as you two?
I don't.
I'm not going to send Bear. I can't.
No, that goes out again.
My thoughts are this, Your Grace. It would seem to me that if someone is so physically powerful that he can defeat gods,
Yeah, don't.
if he doesn't, so if we find him, we tell him, we give him a message, we try to persuade him to come back.
All I can think of is his kingdom needs their king. Other than that, if he has been gone for so long, it would I think even if he is dead, his people need closure. I think amongst the shorter-lived races, things that remain a mystery, they don't have as much time to wait for the mystery to reveal itself.
Understood.
Perhaps he has disappeared on purpose and removed himself from society.
At this point, any thoughts that you care to throw out to this court are going to be listened to. So, anything, any and all, even crazy things, like I have thought of perhaps the dragon ate him. But when I reached out,
Did you see him in there?
no, when I reached out to Blackout, the only thing that I got in return was this, and he pulled up part of his crown of dragon's breath, and when he does, you notice one flower that is dark and brittle. And if this means what I think it means, then he will be a no.
I have no idea what that means.
A warrior
It
of
means the dragon's dead.
Yeah. What I know.
No.
I'm shocked.
Unless you have no proficiency with herbalism.
I do.
Roll it.
Oddly enough. That is one thing. Bookbinding.
20 or low.
Once you hit less, you lose.
Bookbinding. Herbalism. Got it.
Now this is a harder than normal roll, so
I'll tell you what.
you need to make
You
it.
got my number,
You
right?
need to make it by. I'll just make it by 4, and
Some of that
your
numbers. Or 4.
herbalism is
by-
15. Okay, so you need to roll an 11 or less.
Roll a 4.
Okay, so yes, you know what that means.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's that
Blackout's
dragon's dead.
Okay.
Unless the king is lying about where he got the dragon's breath. And that is probably not the case.
I am going to infer that Blackout is dead.
a warrior of Nogle's renown surely would leave a path of destruction or signs of battle wherever he goes from the Highbornian culture that you described. If that's the way they measure greatness and regal, I don't know the right words, I'm a mere hunter, but I would think I could track if I could find out where he was last seen. I would say travel to Highbornia and start asking questions, and maybe we can piece together a trail of some kind. A man of this stature and
I agree that if
Battle
he was
prowess.
removed, then suggest you take care of asking questions, too many questions to the wrong people.
Perhaps your divine insight, maybe Corellin can shed light on maybe a proposed path. I don't know about your wizarding ways, Prince Bart, but maybe you can glean something from your magics as well.
Well, I think the gods have truly smiled on us to bring you two together, and then both of you into my path to come before His grace.
Indeed.
Something is put. As they say. Chaos.
We are only waiting. So, would it be not presumptuous of me to assume that you all are willing to undertake this for?
I am, as I always have been, your humble servant.
Are you willing to overlook certain imbalances in your group as he looks over at the two new people?
Everybody gets hurt somewhere.
And he gives you an approving look, which you're like, let's put it this way. If you had a brother that was always punching in the arm and then one day he hugged you, that's the look he just gave.
Okay.
He, it is what it is. And then he looks at you two and says, "Are you willing to risk dying early to find a king of another kingdom that you don't hold allegiance to?"
It is my honor to serve you, King. And if this is the mission that you wish, if you wish answers, it is my honor to help find them.
I will be pleased to take part in this process.
You're good. He gave you guys a look of approval.
What did you say his name was, Kraus? Sarlacc?
Solath.
So,
Dungeon Master note, before Prince B became Prince B, Solath used to fucking throw rocks at him. So, they have a long history together. So he says, so with that in mind, I am only waiting for two other hopefuls that will accompany me. And let me tell you a little bit about them. One of them is an old friend of mine. He is, for lack of a better term, a potion master. He can make potions that might aid you.
An herbalist is always handy.
Certainly that can heal you. And the second one is, and he looks down with a look that you all don't recognize, the cousin of someone who may be my wife. I'm thinking about taking a wife, and this is her cousin. And though he is brave and strong, he does not speak. He was born this way. And his name
He chooses not to speak?
No, he is incapable. His birthright, the way he was born prohibits any type of healing. In other words, he is as whole as he will ever be. His name is, and I probably left it downstairs. And the other guy's name I left downstairs too. So that would be
those two guys.
That would be a good time to take your 15-minute smoke break because it's been 2 hours. Well, I go downstairs and find the names
Oh, no, Jeff is Jeff.
of the NPCs.
Do you
Yeah,
pause
they
this?
couldn't talk.
We're
So
both
it's
vicious.
less than 15
Come
minutes.
on, vicious.
I just set my alarm clock here and it'll go off and it's like, all right, here we go.
Here we go.
Or, well, like,
Let's take over here.
I know this was a union shop.
Well, even though I don't smoke, I love people with poison stuff. So.
All right.
How that works out?
Back to our 22-day journey, speaking of
Or, yeah, you guys want to continue talking.
I'm talking Halen there about Corell and Ruthian, and because I'm more of a Scarret man myself. I pray Scarret as I kill my game, and he's more of the naturalist and ruler of all things in the forest, and provides for the weak and the balance. He keeps the balance.
An honorable man to be sure, or an honorable power to be sure.
The reason I'm getting into more of the religious discussion is because at a certain level, rangers can use priest spells.
Right.
So perhaps in our journeys we can delve into that a little more.
Absolutely.
And discuss your religion. And because I'm not a super pious dude, but I want to be able to use spells when I get there.
One of the things that Gil will know, if he doesn't already understand, it's not just religious stuff, he also dabbles in that.
Okay.
So, some double tapping.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Cobb mentioned, I thought you were multi-class.
Yeah. Which means I get the level much lower than that.
Right. But you got spells from both casts that you can use.
Yeah, they're the same spells.
Oh, are they? No. Yeah, Lee was considering playing a fighter mage until I explained the slower leveling.
Well, that in Magic is so unusual that the way Cobb, and if you go in any kind of urban area or urban light and you display magic, they're gonna run you out or
You could freak out.
yeah, or that's the way it's been. I don't know. What else is going on in real world?
Still working at the machine shop. Just had 9-year mark last October. It was 9 years. I'm on second shift right now, so
Things just going well there.
yeah, staying busy. We've in the last year, bosses bought 2 new machines and
Excellent.
hired
Growth is better than
3 or 4 people. Yeah.
very cool.
Keeping things
You have lost any limbs?
going on. Not yet. Got my fingers crossed. Yeah.
Nothing for Michael?
Are you keeping track of the names?
I am.
Okay. The young silent elf,
That's the cousin, right?
yeah, is Lodathal, Lodhathal.
H-A-N.
And then the older potion master, his name is Benefor, Benefor.
And these folks have not arrived yet.
Right.
E-N-E-F.
F-O-R. And just for, yeah, okay,
Are one of these Katie's?
no,
Okay.
okay.
We had a question. Where did you come up with that name?
Video Word Plus.
Yeah.
Actually, I just found like a website where you put in a race and a class
Mhm.
and all that, and then
Gonna generate the
like
name
your
generator?
initials, and it just generates the name.
Yeah, all right. That's a good name. I mean, I was like, oh, shit.
He's like, I know, it's really long. I said, that's Elvin.
Oh, yeah.
Like I put his initials in there, and it came out with Davcott's hunting dog.
Nice.
And depending on like which race and class you choose, they'll give you a different name. And you can choose your fame level. If you choose like a 1, it's just your name. If you choose like a 10, it'll be like so and so
Sure.
of the wolf or Lord. So
Right.
makes sense. And it's an email.
Yeah, well, especially for a DM, come up with names, those are the kinds of things that, I can remember, again, back in the day, it was just, just X, and guy number 1.
Joe Blow.
Yeah. Or, whatever,
Drug
top of our head at the time.
And football guys.
And football guys, I remember them.
Those were the first miniatures I ever painted.
Is that right?
Yeah, I made the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Bengals.
For Steve?
Yeah.
I remember that. I do remember that.
So much shit, I don't even remember the stuff. People come and say, hey, remember that? And I'm like, yeah, good for it. I'll plead guilty. No memory
No,
whatsoever.
I'm the same way, man. My memory's pretty well shot.
I gotta stay on top of this.
You still doing the computer security thing?
Yeah, I run a piece of software now I'm back at the headquarters company. And instead of managing the 900 people I got all over the country between U.S. and Canada.
That's the last we spoke.
Yeah. So I went back to the headquarters, and now I run a piece of software that the sales team uses to do their stuff. So I train new people, I make sure the existing people are doing it right, make sure it's running, I update it, do those kinds of things.
What kind of commute are you looking at every day?
I drive up to the Creek Fork. Yeah, so it's actually closer than I was driving up St. Charles.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And I bitch because I'm a guy.
I hate driving to the shitty, I call it.
Really? See, I enjoy driving. I I don't ever want to go into the city,
Right.
but I don't mind driving. Hell, I did it for 24 years.
Yeah.
And I really, the driving's not the issue. As a matter of fact, I listen to this when I listen to my audiobooks.
Yep. Yep.
And that's, I can catch up on the shit I was supposed to have read.
I remember when we were working at Champion, you let me borrow, I think, War of the Worlds or
Yeah.
something to that effect.
And now,
that was great.
everything's on the phone. I mean, it's so.
Or it was Time Machine, I think. H.G. Wells' Time Machine.
Could be.
I remember it was really
Yeah,
well done.
Everybody, if a book reaches a certain level, somebody's going to be doing an audio copy of it, and you can just, again, it depends on the performance. Like, some of them are really nice, some of them are like God reading, where you're
Right, it's just one person reading.
35 seconds and your fucking head is hitting your
I
chest.
like when they got a couple sound effects and everything, real
Yeah,
production.
Dale did a great job with the Harry Potter books for the States. Every character has a different voice. And he actually won not a Tony, a Grammy for his work.
Recorded.
Yeah, for doing the one book. It's something like over 100 characters.
Wow.
100
And he did them all?
He does everything,
Oh, wow.
and he does the voice. It's really well done.
Yeah.
And then, that's kind of the gold standard, and then, everything in between. But anyway, so I don't mind the drive. Either that, between the audiobooks and the podcasts, I listen to a lot of history-type podcasts and those kind of things. So.
Yeah, so that burns the time pretty good. As long as you don't have too many idiots out there on the
Yeah,
road.
well,
That's the main thing.
In the mornings, because I'm going with traffic, everyone's focused on getting the fuck on down the road, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because then if you drive on a Saturday or Sunday or off hours, where people aren't as focused, that's when it becomes frustrating. It's like, get your fucking ass going, let's do this. Or in the mornings, everyone knows the deal, and
They have their set route.
yeah, it's so it's really not so bad. Sometimes volume, and then you get some bonehead that causes a crash, that kind of deal.
It's not bad. Normal stuff.
So, and I don't abuse it, so I can kind of come and go when I want, because then I'll just go home and get back on, and forward the phone to myself.
Yeah, so you can work from home when you need
I
to.
can, yeah. So
That's nice.
And my boss is always traveling; he's never around, and he doesn't know what the hell I do. I mean, bottom line, he knows it works, and he would know if it wasn't working.
Right?
But I don't let it get to that point.
Yeah.
So.
So no headache. Well, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
oh, I was going to show you.
Kind of work on your own terms.
Did I ever show you my granddaughter?
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
She's
She's the only thing that keeps me from climbing the clock tower, I'll tell you that.
I'm living out in Stanton now. I bought a place out there, 12.63 acres.
I don't understand.
Merrimack Caverns.
Oh, so
on Highway 43.
Franklin County?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's southern Franklin County.
Correct. Real close to the edge of Crawford.
Crawford, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Bourbon
You
is.
live all the way out there? But you're driving.
I work in St. Clair. I'm 15 minutes from work. Yeah.
Because Barbara does a bunch of traveling now. She travels to the hospital and she goes to other hospitals and trains there.
I wondered if she was still nursing or if she was like in the. I knew she was in administration as well.
Yeah. Well, she does some bedside stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's training.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're grooming her to be in charge of the entire unit.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of responsibility.
What the hell she comes home? I still can't figure that out. Elizabeth just shooting those pictures.
That's some old man. Oh. He's a little cutie.
It's the best. It is absolutely. It's the best.
Yeah, man.
I mean, like I said,
You raised your girls, and now you got a little baby girl.
but they live over on the other side of the state.
Uh-huh.
Both of the girls do. Christine lives near Phoenix City, and Elizabeth lives up in St. John.
And your younger one graduated from college and all that now.
Yeah,
She was just leaving from college.
Oh, is that right?
And when we went to
She's been graduated for a couple years.
yeah, when we were at Archon, you were talking about hiring U-Haul and driving a U-Haul across to Hoover. And,
Yeah. It was she's the reason I have the picture is Christine, my oldest one, went up to visit her because they just got a place. So they're moving into it. And,
Some bright young ladies you raised there.
well, thank goodness they got farmers love.
All I had was your
My shitty attitude.
You're disciplined to keep them in line.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's fun, I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Hopefully it won't happen to you too soon, but when it does, it's cooler and shit.
If any of you wanted any of the cookies or the peanut caramel jam, which are tasty. I used those on Thursday. It was,
I'm gonna
monsters.
call
Nobody's having the monster diet.
Hey, my
Please get the Dungeon Master the monster. That's fun.
Oh, that's your other gaming session, and that's these other files?
Yes.
Here?
These other files?
No, I have a stack of books, I probably should have used it. Douchebag.
He just gypped it.
Oh,
There you go. Actually,
caramel.
Daryl's the original literal one of everyone. He's the one that will say exactly what you fucking said. Be like, oh, is that it? And all other literal things come from the Daryl tree.
Literally speaking.
Oh, yeah, broken plate.
Yes.
Tattered, I've been shattered.
This is what the feed looks like as people are watching it. It's not high def, but that's because it's Google's thing.
Where you can show me something, right?
It's over here.
It's just what.
Yeah,
looks
we're not
like
allowed to
people
look
watch.
at the monitor.
That's all.
We can see it right there.
Yeah, that's the live version. Anyway, and there's occasionally people that will tune in for a while. So,
On purpose.
No.
wow. You know, the big wide world. You know more about weirdos than I do.
There's that.
Because you had to arrest them for years. I never had to deal with it.
It's an hobby.
Other than throw them out of the store.
Bull in the china shop.
Before we start, I just want to say on a personal note, I am very grateful that some of my oldest and dearest gaming friends are able to find time to join me in the tales of Skell, so I make a toast to all of you. And also
Cheers!
to the youngest here that may carry on the tradition with his own nerdy friends.
Hey.
It's fun to be doing it
You
again.
know what was wild, and I just had this shot back and was playing with the Siri and looking at the deal up. Remember that big ass selection of encyclopedias you had?
I still have them.
Well, okay, that you have, and how often it was fuck. Oh, let's look it up, and you go get the damn book out trying to figure out where the hell it is in the encyclopedia. Now it's Siri.
Yep.
How small is my dick?
Yeah.
Your penis is 2.7 centimeters. What are you showing me?
U.S. topographical map.
One more time in English?
U.S. topographical map.
You don't have to speak in Elvish just because we're playing Elves.
Okay. Yeah, that looks cool. Is there more of the story stuff? Or
Have you read my ear?
why do you have that as map on your phone?
So you can see where he's at.
It's just to annoy you.
I didn't tell you, but I have to tell you.
Well, then don't tell me.
Yeah, I already got time for
This is credit.
Oh, really?
Pissed. Okay,
That's
so
why I'm skipping today to do this.
You won't do that again. There's a be a month for us. That's next week.
well, I'm sorry, it's every 2 weeks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you guys
doing
switch
the,
artifact.
I didn't know it was every
You doing
2 weeks.
the-
Did you tell me that?
Yes.
Metal detector type stuff? Or?
Are you lying to me?
Arrowhead.
No,
Oh, okay.
Several tools like axes and.
No, it's
My
every
buddy
other
Don
because
enjoys doing it,
the
and metal
lead may
detecting.
partake every 2 weeks.
Now, pretty much.
I don't know. I said no.
And I figured, since other things will come up on weekends, I have less chance of, like, I can't, because your daughter's in town or something.
Oh,
I got
I
a place,
see.
I'm not mistaken.
That's why it's a little
I got
late.
place
They're
where
doing
it's
the-
like 12.6 acres, and there's a
Um,
creek runs through the middle of it. But
It's not-
it's a dry creek.
I don't matter.
I know. The last time that big rain came through, I mean, it was up to the top of this little bank, and then once it receded, it's like, wow, look at all this fresh rock and gravel. I bet there's arrowheads in here.
Yeah.
I've never really looked for them hunted, so I don't know the telltale color of that
You'll know.
particular rock.
You'll know when it's hit.
That
What
shade.
you do is, you look for anything that doesn't look, like natural gray.
Yeah, yeah.
You
But you have to
can
come out.
tell, you can tell.
You have to come out sometime.
Really,
When I was a kid, it's not an arrowhead story, and it's a brief story.
That was a good
Where I
one.
grew up, you guys remember where I grew up?
Yeah.
Over on Dole Creek?
Okay.
Okay, I grew up over there. It was a stream deal that ran in between the two properties, right? And when it would flash flood, it would roar through there, whatever. There was two pieces of petrified wood that I found, and a fucking honeycomb that was petrified.
Oh, no kidding.
And, being whatever, 8, 9, oh, that's cool, whatever, okay,
Let's
great.
hit it with a rock.
I wish the fuck I would have
Yeah.
thought of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's petrified wood.
Well,
I had wood things to get petrified.
what's
Ages.
I've got a mammoth
Really?
tooth at home. You ever what, a mammoth tooth?
Cool.
That's not
And I
slang
found,
for something.
you
That's
know,
a
it's a
real.
mammoth tooth. And then, we've got several pieces of petrified wood, some petrified bone,
Was it a mammoth or mastodon?
either or, that's one.
What's in this here? What was it? Mastodon, right? Yeah, it's just a variation, right? A furry
I
elephant.
mean, it's,
Yeah, that's what I see.
you can see it's like where the enamel wore off of the tooth on the outside, and it's round flat on the one side.
Wow,
And
very
it's a
cool.
piece of rock. And it was like, when I first picked it up, I thought it was petrified wood.
And now you give that to Charlie Brown for Easter, Halloween.
Okay.
Hey, what did we do before? Didn't we have like a little stand that we would put up like images of our characters? How did we
I
do
got
that?
one.
I'm being serious for a change. I can't remember. No?
I may have tried
I may have dreamed
something
it
like
too.
that, but with figures just became
Nah, this was
something else.
well established, not like you've always had figs. That was an issue. Never mind. Okay.
So
Or 70s references that no one will get.
for those of
Is that true?
you that weren't,
Yeah, they're, neat. They signify prosperity.
And even the turning of the head on the helm means something. I mean, everything means something. It's really cool.
Leaders with the, arms holding up the, wheat shape.
Yeah.
And those are, signify prosperity. The, blue field is, loyalty, patriotic, and then,
Just make this up, or
no,
did you?
it's the heraldry with it. And then the sable, chevron through the middle is, protected by her, its royal house.
Nice.
So it's basically clear as an into the royal house. So probably, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do they know you were around? I mean, is there someplace over there you can go and hang out? Not necessarily a building or anything, but the
Probably,
family's
yeah.
still over there?
for those of you that weren't here, the names, the younger cousin elf that doesn't speak, his name was Lothal, and the other one they're waiting on, the potion master, was Venice. So, you're talking to the king in the Elven court.
Good king, am I correct in assuming you have a smithy here somewhere in the tree?
Looks at Bart.
Really? Our friend here lacks a sword.
Oh, I might have, so we were approved.
These, your grace, these two companions, do you know when they will?
Anytime now. And the DM will say anytime to,
Could be.
could be yes.
The
They
sword is-
they are aware of
Short sword.
the.
Right?
I would hope that they would be aware of the urgency of the missive that they received. Everyone here save versus spell. If you have a magical attack adjustment on your wisdom, you would add that to your roll. Rolling a 20 and you want high. Tell me what you roll, and if you passed or failed. Huh? Everyone is doing this, yes.
They keep,
That's a pass.
I got an 11.
You need a what?
I got one there somewhere.
No, what you need to say versus spells.
I have a plus, oops, sorry, I get.
Dylan, can you provide the
I did not make it even with my plus.
12, I need
5.
17? Okay, so you failed, and so Leo fails,
I
Gil
rolled a
fails.
1.
Gil failed, wow, okay.
We
Alright,
we
so-
we sleep.
the only one that is not affected by a sudden fear is Prince B. Oh, I guess I should go for someone.
I thought it was him.
He appears afraid as well.
I draw my sword.
I'm looking around, what is causing this? Why am I, why?
Something approaches.
Is anyone else doing anything I need to know about? The king is backing slowly away from the edge of the disc. That's all he can do. But he's also looking around, not like this kind of with his eyes.
I grasped my holy symbol, and I have my other hand in where some of my spell components are.
I will draw.
Okay? Holy crap, there are 2 people watching this right now.
Hey, 2 people watching us?
Alright.
Hello.
Leave a comment if you would,
Oh my God.
or not.
If
That's
you're not
fine.
offended.
Yeah, because this is the worst role playing.
Oh,
Okay, so at that moment, a dark shadow passes over the disc. And as you all
Oh, no.
choose to look or
Yes.
not look,
Yeah.
it appears to be a black dragon.
But Blackout, I heard he was dead.
So those of you that are scared,
Yes.
you're basically, your 2 options are to stand still or to flee. And you get to pick which one you want.
And still, I don't know where the hell I'm at, and I'm not gonna fall off a 700-foot tall tree.
Yeah, I'm standing my ground.
I will stay.
I have already drawn my sword, and now I'm just
I wouldn't know where to go.
Okay, now, the DM will tell you mechanically, since you failed the fear spell, though you have drawn or prepared a spell, you will not be able to do that.
okay.
Okay, so,
I don't
Prince
know.
B, on the other hand, you're not afraid.
Right.
So would you like me to continue, or do you want to do something?
To calm down, keep the sword.
Okay.
Tell them.
Okay.
The reason to provoke.
All of you get another save with the same chances on the same thing.
Let's see if I can get up.
You won high on a 20.
I got a 3.
9.
You failed.
You win.
Renathon, you failed, and Ewan failed. Okay, and the king,
There's the guy that crams the die.
he fails again. Okay, so none of you are unafraid at the soothing words of the prince.
So he showed you how soothing they look.
The,
Oh, great, thanks, Bart.
Cut it out, guys.
from the back of where you're standing, in other words, on the opposite side near the entrance, the blade singers come running forward. Save the king! And at that moment, a huge black dragon lands on the edge of the disc by the throne. And when he lands, all of you must make a strength check, or you are blown over by the wind of the
No,
land.
this is gonna.
Strength check on a 20, you unload.
Low.
I'm on 2 now.
Okay, well now I get a 20.
5.
Yes! You made yours? Okay,
Yeah.
so those of you that are successful, you remain standing. Those of you that are not successful, you are blown over.
You fall
Just to
down
the ground.
off the tree.
No, you fall down in the square. And the square is when we use figures, that's where you are. It shows you're facing and who you are threatening and who's threatening you. That's what, when I say squares.
Can I get between Blackout and Soul?
You can move wherever you'd like. You're not afraid. You're not.
I step between Solak and
Okay.
Blackout.
I've never seen this dragon.
No. But you are under the effects
Oh,
of
I'm good.
dragon fear.
I don't know, I'm scared.
And
I'm
those-
not afraid to tell
The
anybody.
claws scratch into the disc.
We're here now.
Barely dent that metallic cover, and it's like makes the sound that Titanic made when it ran into the iceberg. Yeah. And the heat
I was never in the Titanic.
from its
but I can
breath
imagine.
Titanic.
and its body you feel upon your skin, and to look at the dragon in one awesome sight is more than you were prepared for, except for Prince B.
I didn't tell what this take before.
You've been inside him.
No, not this one.
Inside him. Not him.
The dragon lowers its head down and looks right at you, Prince B. And he sniffs and he says, "You are what I say."
We've met before, haven't we? Is it the same one?
I know you know who I am. Tell me, where is you?
I know not where Noble is.
Bear runs up with his sword out, and the dragon shouts out in a booming voice that once again causes all of you to save versus strength. However, this time you're at a +4, so add 4 to your strength and then roll lower then.
Well, I got
Sure.
7.
Everybody make it?
Yep.
Okay, good, because you were ready for this. He says, I invoke Rishnak Bakshter. And those of you that speak the arcane language, which would be who? Anyone? Ewan and Bart, perhaps?
I don't have it listed, but I've got some other tones listed and I don't know.
Well, no, you are a mage, or
Right.
not?
Yes.
Okay.
Then you know that.
And you
Oh, you said
understand.
arcane. I see.
Yes. It means
Anyway.
Pact of the Ancients. And at that moment, all of you are, the effects of the sphere, of the awe, of the dragon awe is removed. And Solath gathers himself and he says, I respect the Pact of the Ancients. Stand down.
I sheathe my sword.
Bear steps backwards. And he says, I do not like leaving you here, my king. This dragon is evil and a bane upon the entire coast. And Solad says, nothing. He turns and looks at Bear. And Bear takes 2 steps backwards. The dragon speaks. If you do not know where Noble is, then I fear our world is doomed. Through means that I shall not divulge, I think Noble may be in hell.
That's a hell of a place to be.
Indeed.
We'll get the hell out of there.
What the hell is he doing now?
I don't know. If he is the man that we all know, he would not go to hell. He would go to another place.
Are you saying he's been defeated and
Not
is dead?
I'm saying I don't know. I only know where his soul is, and it is not in the correct place.
No, we corrected.
I am not going to leave these lands, not while the bitch is in station in Renals. You will have to do this. Solat says, did it ever occur to you that the eyes of the emerald tree are not blind? And the dragon says, no. Nothing your petty kingdom does is normally of any import to my plan. You are not a part of the food chain, are you?
Obviously.
And then he gives a look to the king.
that you recognize as know your place. And the king and him have a stare off. And so for the king, Leo, I want you to roll a 20. And for the dragon, I'm going to roll a 20. 50. Who plays first? And 15. They continue to stare.
During this time,
Okay, yeah, and you guys can do whatever you want.
Galadon is very much in awe of this giant beast. He's never seen a dragon up close like this, and he is studying the way his scales lay against each other. And
Yes. The dragon is probably 100. It's more than half of it is resting off of the edge of the disc.
yeah,
That's how big it is.
he's just like hanging on to the
Yeah.
edge.
Like a bird hangs on a twig.
As a hunter and a ranger and a lover of all animals, I'm just studying him. So looking for weaknesses, say, not necessarily for combat, but as a ranger, as a naturalist, I'm very interested in the way he's built and how he's all put together. You don't have to describe all that. I just, as a player, I know.
How to field dressing?
Yes, things like that. You know, if I were to be in combat with a creature like this, well, you know, the best place is in the armpit to throw my spear and things like that. I'm really in awe
So
of
now
this giant
you get
creature.
to stand next to a dragon.
Yes,
Killing the fuck out of it.
exactly right. I'm just taking it all.
You know that it is armored both above and below.
Yeah. He's very tough looking.
You also
I'm lost.
realize that he, as far as you know, is the height of the top of the mountain as far as predators. And that when he spoke to the king about taking him out on the food chain, that was both good and bad.
Fun.
So let's have another roll off here.
17.
17, and I rolled a 19. Okay, so the king just imperceptibly. Actually, all of you need to. You can roll me your levels to see if you notice that the king broke off first. On a 30.
Yeah,
Only levels.
on a 30.
Hey! Equal to my.
Hey! I finally made one.
Okay.
I got it's a 3.
Okay, you were close. So those of you that made the level check, do notice that the dragon wins the stare off. Those of you that don't make it don't know that he made it. Okay. So the king turns his back on the dragon and starts to ascend the steps to his emerald throne. The dragon doesn't seem very offended by that, which is unusual. And the dragon
I
says,
wouldn't know if it was a
the dragon says, before you ask it, I will answer it.
I'm sorry. Who won this girl? I did notice.
The dragon.
I wasn't paying attention.
Before you ask, I will answer this question. The reason that our lands are in danger is because if something is able to redirect someone's soul from its final resting place, there is absolutely no reason why it can't happen to anyone else.
So he did die, or you had to have a soul for that. But
He was a human.
And he was an old man. Wandered into the woods and.
I do have one gift for you all before I leave that may help you. And it takes its clawed, scaly hand. This dragon has, it's not like the Smog in the movie where he's got like claws on the wings. This dragon has like 4 legs and then the wings coming out of its back. And it reaches what appears to be inside its own body. but how can that be? And it pulls out its hand like this, and it reaches it forward, and it puts it right in front of the king, which means it's going close to or over you all. And when it goes over you, this dragon has a smell like burnt ash. And it opens up its huge scaly claw and like a bundle drops down into the king's lap. And the king says, "Should I open it, or should I not trust you?" The dragon says, "Do whatever you want to do with it. Hopefully you will save us." And it comes in and does a big snort right in your face, and your hair flies down.
Snotty ass.
And then whispers something to you that all of you can roll 20s to see if you hear. And those of you that are elves, your chance to hear noise is, let's see, hearing, no, listening.
I got secret doors in position. Is this? You talking about racial abilities?
Yeah.
I don't see anything but hearing.
Detect noise is a fuse.
Huh?
Detect noise is a fuse.
Well, anyway, roll 20s. If you guys get low enough, I'll look it up. But you're gonna need at least a 3 or okay, nothing. Or no.
I just hear the breath.
Okay, so you don't hear this. All right. The dragon whispers to Prince B. I guess I should write this down, shouldn't I?
Yeah, probably.
Do you have a notebook?
You got a real pretty mouth.
Where your lip quivers in my ears.
I'm not gonna say that.
I'd like for you to comb my ass hairs. No? That probably wasn't it? Just throwing it out there.
What we have here is a failure.
Man, you suck.
Do you guys have it?
I do not.
Let me take mine and do some research. You
Yeah,
got the
you're-
Gold Rangers, right?
You got tear caught down
Okay,
water or
can you
what?
make that out?
It's some very ranger specific stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's what he whispers.
Well, thank God I wrote it down for you, because you're gonna fuck this up in the future. If this is any indication, you will screw this detail all the hell.
What did it say? It said I was hungry.
This is less than 20.
Yeah.
But what are you doing?
Bear, come retrieve this bag as the dragon flies off. And as it flies off, the wind once again buffets you all in a manner which, unlike a summer storm, but a the winds are fast. And the smell of the dragon lingers in the air for many moments.
Poor guy had to be converting alchemist.
That's what's in the bag.
And Bear retrieves the bag. He looks up, the king nods his head. Bear opens it, and he makes a face of confusion. And then he looks up at the king again, and the king says, "Dump it out, or pick it up, or whatever."
Wait, real quick, when the dragon dropped it, like you said, he dropped it in the king's lap.
Correct.
Was it a metallic sound? Like there was something metal inside the bag?
No.
Okay.
I moved toward the throne to see what he's pulling out of this bag.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm watching.
I am also.
Okay. He pulls out what appears to be a thick piece of leather, but upon it being pulled out all the way, it appears to be without the metal facing, it appears to be like a championship wrestling belt.
WWF. A girdle of some sort.
Do I recognize that belt?
If you've seen
I
it
don't
before,
think
then
so.
yes. Yes, you do. And I think that you do.
I think I've seen him.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say that's Noble's belt.
And Bear says, "What's so special about an elf? Are we to use this to track him?"
Does that mean the dragon killed him?
I can tell you that if Noble were alive, that belt would be with Noble. That's how important that belt is.
Dragon probably
Much like
saved it, you
His
know.
Grace's crown.
You don't want to put it on, you know. We need to figure out what it does first. I can do that.
Okay.
It'll take time.
As can I, and we have time until our other companions arrive.
And right on cue,
Oh,
in walks two elves. One is looking older than the other. One appears to be older than all of you, not ancient, but just older. And one looks to be younger than all of you, not by a lot, but by a little. The older one is, for an elf, overweight. He's wearing brown breeches that are tied at the knee. He's got long hose on and these low, soft shoes. He's got a belt that's cinched up underneath his girth, giving him a plump look. I would say this guy, for lack of a better description, appears to be the elven version of Friar Tuck.
Well, now, and this is, oh, okay. Now, I'm going to do the elf stare. I'm looking at this guy up and down. I'm going to try to get all the nuances from this person that I can get. Full elf.
Certainly appears to be. Yes.
All of the non-mixed.
He appears to have bulging pockets. He appears to have several pouches off of his belt.
Yeah.
He appears to have 3 or 4 big pouches then on top of those little pouches around his belt.
Backpack?
No.
Okay.
He, on his back, it's not a backpack, it's more like he's got 2 man bags. You know, like you know how mail purses? Let's say he's got 2 purses.
Like a satchel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more appropriate. He's got 2 satchels, but they're slung around his shoulders in a cross fashion.
All right.
So that way they're kind of balanced, I guess.
With his bulging pockets.
That's what you
Hello, ladies.
I think there's a gold
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm getting my point across because first thing you can tell is that he has a look of someone that enjoys smoking weed,
Okay.
and he has a move like he seems like more of a free spirit.
I can't wait to shower.
Very elven.
Even more elven than most elves.
So he's a hippie elf.
I don't want to say that. That would be crass and not very descriptive of the Dungeon Master, but yes.
Oh.
Yes.
That guy's a tree hugging hippie.
And he
Smoking the sweet
does
leaf.
this.
Yeah, but
He's like,
he grows on this.
he does this. Hi guys.
Is he over?
How is everybody?
Is he overtly effeminate or?
I don't know how to say it other than like I'm describing him. I'm not gonna blind him. He says, sorry we're late. We got scared outside, we don't know why. I had to make sure Lodathal here was okay. Lodathal, all he does is raise his hand.
Yes, that's right.
And he is a fresh-faced young elf who has very long hair tied in a ponytail. And he appears to be like he's been eating something. He's a little dirty around his mouth. He has leather armor from head to toe. He's wearing a leather cap. He looks like he's pretty strong. Maybe not as strong as some, but he's not like a bulgy, muscly elf, but he's in good shape. About
almost 5 foot tall, you would think. Blondish hair for an elf, which is kind of unusual, so you're not really sure where he's from.
Carrying any weaponry?
He is carrying 2 swords and 3 daggers and no bows. And the older one's like, so, what's going on, guys? By the way, my name's Featherfall, but I would prefer if my friends call me Benny. And even though his name is Lodithil, I was thinking, Lodi, that would work, wouldn't it? So he looks up and he's like, hey, you're Prince B! Hey!
Do I know him?
Nope.
No.
Is that what you're gonna admit to on camera?
And he walks over to you and he puts his hand out. And when he puts his hand out, and he smells like weed, like, ooh.
So that's the only thing. It's not like perfumed.
Nope.
Yeah.
Are robes? Is this like an outer robe garment?
Yes.
So is there anything like when he moves that you can see what he's wearing underneath that?
Well, that was kind of how I was describing the
Like the bags?
belt. Yeah.
Okay.
No, the robe isn't closed.
You're always trying to look up that shirt.
Like a Scotsman.
Don't judge me, bitch.
Neither of these guys has facial hair.
No. Well, you said they're full of it.
Benefor has, what you can tell is kind of slightly oversized ears and nose. Slightly.
I'm sorry, which one again? Benny?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lodi, he could be like a young, he would be considered a handsome elf. Got that
Benny and
got that angular jaw and what was that? Somebody was doing donuts in the market.
Elton John, singing the jazz.
No, he just did this weird laugh. Caught me off guard.
I started it, but you added the. That was great.
So whenever
Apologize to the mute community.
Yes.
Everyone.
Lodi does not
They
seem
can't tell nobody.
Lodi does not seem amused by Benny's dandy act.
D&D.
Aren't you a couple? Are you talking to me? No.
I move forward and shake hands, introduce myself. Pleased to meet you. Both. I'll start with Benny,
Okay.
and then I'll move over to
Hi, I'm Benny.
Lodathon.
How does not?
Is there anything, given the skunk eye look to look off?
So you're giving the skunk guy.
No. I'm giving him the appraisal eye.
Okay. So he's like, okay, well let's see. He
I would say.
he gets this and goes, just wait your turn.
We offers his hand, actually.
Okay.
You talk, hang on a second. Whoa.
Because you were giving me the phrasing look.
Lodi.
Yeah. Oh, Lodi.
I already gave the other guy.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. He was doing something else.
Yeah, that's why I want to make
fine.
sure it was
Okay.
clear.
So when you do that to Lodi,
Yeah. I didn't know if I would notice anything other than what you've already described.
I know.
Like, how is he standing? Like he's ready to use a weapon? Does he stand like he's, are his knees?
He is standing at ease.
Okay. So he's relaxed, as opposed to being like on guard or
Correct.
Okay.
So whenever you shake, they do in return kind, and then Benny says, "King Solar."
Yeah, those two people that were watching, by the way,
Oh, that's
offended everyone.
no,
Possibly offended.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so Benny comes back over to Prince B. He's like, man, your weed is legendary. He says, any chance we could share some?
Maybe later. Not appropriate.
Or
Later.
are you guys here for? And he pulls out this letter that looks familiar. It's got the same writing of it. You guys here for this? All right.
I'm going to look at the king and give the king the slight, really look.
And he just returns it to. Okay. And he's like, well, I know that you guys look a little stressed out. He reaches into his pouch and he pulls out a vial. And he's like, I got some calm down stuff right here. Anybody want to sniff? You? All right. He pops, or however you do the popping sound on your mouth. Yeah. And a little bit of mist comes out. And he's like, oh yeah! And he drinks a little bit and he hands it to you. And it's pretty fucking tasty. I don't know what drink Brad likes, but it tastes slightly better than that. And
Archon bug juice.
you know that if you were to continue to drink it, you would be mellowed to the max. Says,
Huh?
You like?
Not bad.
Oh, hey, Benny's your man. I know how to make this stuff out of stuff that no one else can. And then you see Lodi's just kind of shaking his head in disapproval. And Lodi's elven body language seems a little bit crude.
Like, yeah, they've been around just trying for love.
Like, he's,
on a farm?
it's like he's just on the, yeah, like he was raised on a farm.
Hmm.
So,
He almost looks half
Guess
old
what?
those ears.
He's our incident red.
Let's go check out what's in behind that door there. No, you open the box. It'll be fine.
let's go check out what's in that cave.
No, that growling, that's the wind.
Yeah.
It's
So that's,
Well, honestly, it's just water. Go ahead, stick your hand in there.
Benny, I need you to be serious for a moment. And he's like, I can be serious for a moment, just not all day, man.
I know what you're talking about.
Celeste says, I don't want to have to explain this all over again, because frankly, you're annoying. So I want for all of you to just give me a moment of peace while I consider what has just transpired. Guards escort the prince and his esteemed associates to their guest houses. So,
Bart, are you gathering the belt? Is that something? Are you guys going to study this while we're here
Yeah,
and
we'll take the belt
see
back with
what
us.
benefit it may or may not be to us?
Yeah, I'll grab it, I'll put it back in the bag and just carry it. That way you can have your pipe in your hand.
Oh,
you notice
push you hard.
all of you don't even have to roll this. You notice that Bear, the captain of the guard, does not like Benny. He's fucking, he is not having what Benny is selling.
Come on, Bear, take a hit, man.
That is
It's
a
all good
stretch
for
of
you.
highway he does not want to drive down.
He's one of these that can go home and take the sword off.
So, do you guys, like, for lack of a better term, do you allow Benny and Lodi to walk with you, or do you try to
Oh, yeah.
separate yourselves?
Oh, might as well.
I don't know, we're a group.
Volume up,
Okay,
man.
I mean, you don't, I'm just saying, you have that option if you want to fucking show.
We'll volume up.
Okay, so you all are escorted from the court down the steps, and then the second limb down, you take that, and this limb is wide enough for 2 or 3 people to walk abreast. That's how wide it is.
Big one.
And it takes you, and you can see right, just a little ways down, a large
I remember where this one was just twig.
tree house. And the tree house is actually twice the size of the king's,
Tree grows like a weed.
of the king's house. But it's set up to house, guests and a retinue and all that. So there are rooms for all of you. If you wanted separate rooms, the guards just show you there, and they're like, make yourselves at home. There doesn't appear to be an attendant there, which guard as there probably should be, but who knows where this guy or woman is black. Who knows?
Right.
But there's no attendant there. No. Like your, whatever it's called, your, not a maid, but
Yeah.
whatever you would
You want
call it.
valet?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Mate or
Personal service, made,
Personal assistant?
Concierge.
Yeah, concierge. That's perfect.
give me some tickets to.
Okay, so you guys can do whatever you
We're gonna
want
talk it
for the
I
foreseeable
will.
future.
I want to eventually, probably not this day, but in the morning of the next day, I want to speak with Benny regarding herbalism and herbal issues and see what he has and what I might have do that whole people of a kindred profession thing.
But right now, what's everybody doing? Getting settled in, maybe?
Yes.
Or,
Unpacking,
okay.
being that we've been on the road for 20
Those of you
days.
that are wearing armor, you continue to wear it the whole time.
Yeah.
Because sleeping in armor will not get you a good night's sleep. Wearing armor when it's not needed is considered crass, or even threatening in some places. So that's something that I'm saying you would know that. So
So I guess under my armor, leather breeches and a shirt or something.
Yeah.
So
by now you would have in your traveling packs or whatever spare clothes.
okay.
Just like
so
anyone
I
that
choose
travels.
a bomb.
You're a traveling salesman that hunts things.
Yeah.
You know.
I choose a bomb, put my pack there, put my armor. I leave my sword on my belt just because I feel better that way.
And that is one thing that is different in the Emerald culture here than in the southern kingdoms. If you've ever traveled there, is in the south. In some places, you're not allowed to just keep your sword on your belt at all times. Some places you are, if it's a rougher part of the world. And in some places, no one but the guards can have swords. So, but here with elves, with their kinship to swords and their racial ability, whatever it is, so if they carry a sword, it's just seen as part of the pomp and circumstance of your family.
Cool.
I guess in the old West, I don't know if the Americans ever had anything like that where they just carried it around because.
We're talking about swords,
But in a different culture, what would that be for Americans?
guns, and what else?
In the West? So everyone had a gun, you think?
No.
Everyone had a way to protect themselves. Whether it be a guy.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just trying to get another analogy to get the point across.
If you travel, you'd have some kind of weapon.
Well, I can tell you in the Arab countries, like a dagger is worn ceremonial, and it's a real dagger. So it's part of that uniform, for lack of a better expression. Whether or not you-
Don't they like
Around the
stations
crib.
with it? The daggers do?
One more time, Neil.
Don't they do their stations with their?
Their stations?
Yeah, like stations.
Right. Oh, you know what that. But I'm
they're
talking
blade-
like,
I know they're
it's almost
blade-
like think like tuxedo.
They're like blade
Be
warrior
part of that.
culture, so.
Okay, so let's work with that.
Formal.
So in the Elven community, in the Emerald Elves, having your sword is like wearing a tie. Okay? But now, just because you don't have a tie, you can still do whatever, but some people just like to be a little more well dressed. Okay?
What's the
Makes
line from
sense.
30 Rock? It's after 6. I'm in a tuxedo. What am I? Armor? What I was going to bring up was in England during medieval times, certain ranks could only wear certain types of fabric, and certain clothes. Like, you couldn't wear pointed shoes if you weren't of a certain rank.
Okay.
So it was another way of distinguishing who was allowed to do whatever. Just throwing it out.
All right. So after everyone gets settled in,
I'm gonna walk back up to that place where I saw the unusual plants and speak to maybe some of the ladies that were watering and caring for the plants. I'll spend a little time doing that.
I want to get with Bart too. I don't want to interrupt with you.
cool. Okay. Does anyone? So I guess you're the only one that leaves the house. Do you let anyone know?
We go with that.
Well, yeah, as I'm walking out the door.
That's up to you to do. I'm not saying that you got to do it.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna go check out those interesting plants that were on the balcony up there and talk to the ladies. I'll be back shortly.
You see these two kicking around with that belt.
Right. If you need me for anything, let me know.
I will say just for the building that you're in, like I said, it's made for a lot of people that are together. There's like it's like a mini hotel. I was just in a hotel in Jefferson City, and so you got the walls that go up, and there's rooms on the walls. So imagine something smaller where the middle is open, but then there are rooms. Courtyard. Yeah. So, and it's 3 levels. So there's like a room on each wall. So what that be? 3, 6, 12. So there's 12 rooms. So there's obviously some rooms that are empty. I'm just saying you pick whatever you want. Somebody wants to be up higher for some reason. Your own personal preference. Benny would prefers a room on the bottom. Lodi prefers a room on the top.
Just so this is all on top of this sawed-off branch. No, but the branches are below the level of where the top of the tree.
Correct.
But then on top of the branches, then the building is built up.
It's still lower than the bottom of
That's
the
my
court.
Okay. All right. So we went down.
Yes.
To go out the branch to go back up, or if we were up in the higher levels.
And even though none of you, I'm guessing, has architecture or whatever science you use to build things, all the houses are built.
We'll never get away from
Daryl, you built a tree house, so you know exactly what it would take to build a tree house if you were an elf. Then all these are done correctly. No skimping.
Repeat Nelson reality.
They're not wattle and daub tree houses. They're made of wood and stuff like that.
They're dovetail joints.
That's right. Good elven craftsmanship.
Right. I like it. Okay. So, since you guys are looking over the belt,
Yes. We're trying to figure out who we're going to put it on.
let's come back to that. Leo, what do you do? Hang out in the
We're gonna hide behind a significant rock.
Siggy's protected.
I'm going to say,
We'll see what time of day it is. Where's my D12? Leave it same. Oh, I gotta have a D12 over here. Can we roll for it?
yeah, because apparently I 11. Okay, it's actually very late in the day. Okay, so that leaves Gil. So you are attempting to go back up to the court where you saw the nut tree? Okay, so you try to go back up to the court and the gate is closed.
Okay. And the guards are like, go away.
Yes.
Alright, since it's getting late in the day, I will descend and scruffle around with T-Losh and give her the attention that she enjoys. And do I feel that, I don't think she would even want to go up into the tree. Do I feel that people would be offended if I tried to bring her up? She couldn't climb the ladder, so okay, I think it's fine. I'm going to let her frolic in the forest while we stay in the tree.
Are you going to go back all the way back down to visit her?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Do you
what I'm
give her
saying.
any commands?
Oh, we just play.
They have a way to bring her up, because that's a common your pet for.
Oh, he doesn't know that though.
Right.
So-
I try to.
He may find out once
Oh.
you see him again and be like, hey, what happened to your dog?
But
But that hasn't
you know what's gonna happen, you could get hit with something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She's pretty good at defending
Those
herself.
letter guys, they get hungry and
I
bored.
did.
That's sad.
I did have the handout here. What did I do with it? For the dog. Yeah.
Want I print it for you?
Did I showed it? There, don't have it.
Is it downstairs at Tom's?
No. Hey, there it is under this one. But one of the commands is to stay or wait. And so, like I said, I went down there to love on her, give her some attention because that's what animal handlers do. They spend
Let's
time.
see here. Roll me a 20, and the higher you roll, the more attention that this big chubby wubby dog gets from the Elven community. And if you roll 1, the dog has been hiding from the other.
12.
Alright, so when you go down there, you see a couple elves of nondescript nature petting the dog. And I don't know if you have, your dog is reacting how you want it to react or how you train it to react to strength.
Okay.
So that's, you can tell me exactly what your dog is doing when approached by friendly elven kind.
Elves, she's good with. And will be friendly unless they become aggressive.
Nope, they just want to scratch your ass and scratch your behind the ears, all the
Yeah,
stuff I
and
do.
she's just a regular dog until I, tell her to get mean or she sees we're in combat. She does.
I think Brad, Prince B knows about Coochies, but maybe you ought to explain to Ewan. Do you know what Coochie is and how big it is and all that?
We were talking about that a
Okay,
moment
good.
ago.
Never mind then. Good. Okay.
Trying not to do the adult joke.
Yeah.
Coochie?
Not
We don't call
Coochie.
it that anymore, yeah.
So I also,
We call it the gap slash.
I also will, while I'm down there,
Give it attention.
It's
I show the elves that are paying attention to her. I'm like, I do the shake. That's a little trick to command. She don't put the big ball on her. Do the shake. It's like, yeah, she's friendly, thanks for keeping an eye on her. And I gather up the saddle blanket and the bridle stuff that I had placed at the base of the tree, as long as it's still there. And I'm going to take that back.
My guess is there's gotta be an entire stable area
Mhm.
for like horses, knowing how even if they have a way to get horses up, they have to have a block and tackle, something.
That would be the roll callers.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah. The DM is going to say, once you get down there and you're not like the first time there, and you start, you notice that there's a lot more activity than you remember at the base of the tree, and that would include like horses and
Outbuildings.
supplies maybe that have to come and go, and
Okay.
things being maybe that are shipped to other places, maybe like in this tree.
Warehousing area.
Yeah, in this tree, they're making the wine that I described, but they can't get this kind of wine in this tree village that's a mile away. So yeah, there's commerce in the fashion of the elves,
Okay.
and there's also like families on the ground that they choose to live on the ground, and it's like, this must be where fucking thing. That's true. There's something about living on the ground when you can live in the tree that most 90% of this elven people don't understand. They're just like, why the fuck would you live on the ground?
Right.
And
Now your
but they
description.
do, and they're treated still great anyway, and they can do things that they can't do in the trees because it's the ground. Like, for instance, provide food for your dog.
Yeah.
They've decided that they don't want to even though they could put rabbit crap on the way and put it down with the composting, if they don't have to, they'd rather not. So there's a lot more things that are not vegetarian style living on the floor.
Okay. The earlier description sounded like there was no trace of people living there because they lived in the tree and no one could, you could tell, you could walk right under it and not see that. So now I'm wondering how just all this commerce and village and
It's, when I say all this, I mean, there's evidence now.
okay.
The thing with like whatever can't fit up in the tree, you're like, oh,
No.
you are beginning to see.
What could I liken it to, like walking up for the first time to the base of the arch and looking up and seeing how tall this fucking thing is so you don't notice all the other shit, like you can go down underneath
Well, that's
steps.
yes,
different
that's
places that
exactly
kind of-
what I was thinking.
Well, then I just use English now.
I'll allow it.
All right.
So he said,
So, yeah, I mill about. I talk to the elves that are down there, and I'm like, "You guys all right with her being down here?" And she can hunt for
They
herself.
say if you're okay at when the sun goes down and the last light can make it through the treetops, we pull the ladders up. And if you're down here, unless you've got a reason to be down here, we don't suggest that you stay down.
Well, I don't intend to,
I mean, you know,
but is it okay for my dog to be down? Is she bothering you, or is she gonna be all right?
no,
if
she
hangs
wouldn't
around?
bother us, but she might be caught by a raiding party. You would think nothing could get this far into the forest. That doesn't mean it's never happened.
Right.
So that's all. It's better safe than sorry.
The DM question.
Yes.
Do I think this dog would be comfortable going up in the tree? I'm guessing that would be an unnatural state, and that
How smart are you, girl?
highly intelligent, I believe, is what the
Because here's what I'll base it on. If
semi-intelligent 4.
how loyal is the dog?
Completely.
Then it wants to be where you are, no matter where you are.
Okay, then. In that case, I will question. How do you guys get good up into the tree? How can I get?
Okay.
How can I take my dog
So
with me?
you're showing around, just like around the curvature of the tree.
Okay.
And that's where you see buildings that are like horses,
Okay.
wagons, and then you also see the loading.
Very good. That's a good girl, Eli.
And there's
Let's go.
like 4 of those, and they're normally twice the size of this table.
Fantastic.
And then when you get on, like there's a folded in, for lack of a better term, gangplank, I guess.
Yeah.
So then when you get up there,
Fantastic. So I take her with me.
and on your way up, you hear one of the guys on the loading lift say this, not you, but your friend. I'm so glad I got off the other side of the tree. It was
Were you a lad boy?
yeah. And he looks and he's like, yeah, but I graduated.
Now you're a letter man.
I grew up. Okay.
I went through your letter.
And on your way up, you also notice that there are like barrels of honey.
Barrels of honey.
Yeah. Apparently, the bees that the bees don't do well up in the top of the trees. There's something about them. That doesn't mean they can't fake it and try to get some up there to pollinate, but they don't. It's one of those things, man, you can't cure. But the honey thing, that's the big thing. That's what they use for the sweet everything. They have a dessert. It's honey slip jam or, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll make my way with T-Losh.
Okay.
On the way, is there I smell out the winery, perhaps get a pint of the wine?
Let's see if you make it time. Roll me a 20. Because they're just now getting ready to close up.
19.
19, no.
My guess is there's a lot of singing, evening time, fires getting done. Was it that kind of deal where you woke up in the morning, went to work, stopped and had a meal during the day, went back to work, had an evening meal, went back to work, and then called it a day?
Yes. But unlike human villages that would have a lot of like mead and ale, there's a lot more wine being passed around here, and there's less body singing.
Well, the wine is what I'm looking for.
The problem is that right when you get up there, they're like, closed.
All right.
And when it closes, kind of a shitty way to get across the fact that the sun is down and now they don't just fucking say close. They just, once again,
It's like you just know.
It's the look of we are done for the day and you just accept it as well.
Right. I mean,
Because guess what? You're going to live 700 more years, so why be in a hurry?
I move on,
Yeah.
back to the room, I settle into the room, and I sit down, I lean against T-Losh, break
So,
out my
In these
pipe
rooms,
out of my pack, and have a smoke, and relax.
The
And
rooms
I
in
ask
this
the concierge to bring me some frickin' wine.
Oh, she's not there. The rooms in this house are about the size of this room we're playing in now. So there is a bed, and the bed is very comfortable, very clean, smells like honeysuckle. There's a chair with some kind of super cool cloth on it. It's like this felt that I put on the table, only softer. And there's also pitchers of water, and there's also bowls, chamber pots, all the things necessary to have an extended stay are here.
Except for concierge.
No, that she finally shows up, and she's pregnant,
Oh, fantastic.
so she's having a hard time getting around.
What does she feel bad?
She apologizes to everyone. She knocks, and
Did she bring the wine with her?
well, she just showed up. So do you ask her to go get you some wine?
Is there any wine available? I'd like it. Some wine.
What is your reaction adjustment on your charisma?
Do you have one?
I will see. I don't think I do. Initial reaction adjustment plus O.
Okay. Oh, so she says
No.
she doesn't sigh, but she does the look in her eyes of
Really? You're leaving?
and then she says, "I will,"
Thank you very much.
and that's what she does. She leaves, and when she walks out, she puts her hand on her back and is like, "Oh."
2 hours later.
I just
We're
thought,
guests in the palace.
I just
man.
thought Elven women pissed on a leaf and Elven men pissed on a leaf and the baby was there. I didn't know how that worked.
Okay, so she does come back after a little, not 2 hours, like 5 minutes. And she's got a jug of wine that's sitting on her hip and like 3 goblets.
Thank you very
She
much.
brings them into your room and she's like,
So
"There
she's
you go."
they've been spinning.
And she wipes her brow. Anything else?
I'm satisfied. Thank you. My name's Galena.
Nice to meet you, Elena. I am Maddie.
Very good. Thank you for your help. and I relax. I pour a little bit of the pitcher of water into a saucer for the dog to lap.
Okay.
I smoke on my pipe and drink my glass of wine before I retire to bed.
Anybody else doing anything I need to know about before we go to the next thing?
I'm just going over the belt.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
then move to you guys. So what are you doing with the belt?
examining, see what, if there's runes written on it.
Yes, there are runes. This belt has, it's like fur on the inside that would touch your skin if you were wearing it, and the fur like goes over the edge and is leather worked into the leather like on the outside. So it forms the edging all the way around. You know that the belt is held in place in the back by metal snaps. The metal snaps are like, where the fuck did these come from? You're not familiar with leather snaps.
Okay.
Or metal snaps. On the front, there are runes all along the wider portion. And the runes are runes that, unless you speak Ancient Hyborian or read Ancient Hyborian, you do not recognize this. They are not Dwarven, they are not Elven.
And they don't appear to be magical?
Are you going to cast Detect Magic?
No, I'm talking about the runes. Do I recognize it in a magic script?
No, that's correct.
Not yet. I still want to examine it. And as I'm not as learning as the princes in the magic arts, I'm going to defer to him to take the lead on the examination to try to determine the spells, that sort of thing. Like a fool.
You're gonna get this question, but how do you do that?
I'm thinking, I'm
You
envisioning.
don't have to look at it.
No. I'm trying to explain what I'm doing. I'm envisioning like a medical thing where there's a senior doctor and there's a doctor, and the other doctor is going through all the training, but maybe doesn't have as much experience. So
You watch it right here.
Yeah. So you get a good pretty.
So look at my school book. This is my school book.
Yeah.
You can look at my school book. Okay, you can look. No, you can't.
All right, so
anyway, that's what I'm talking
you staring at this belt. What do you do?
I put on a pair of gloves because I'm not going to handle without some kind of protection.
Okay.
And I'm going to start cleansing it and preparing it for spell item or identify.
Okay. And do you know what you need to do to cast that spell?
Yeah, I have to have a 100 gold pierce, pearl, and an owl feather steeped in wine, fuse them together, and drink it just before be drunk prior to the spell cast.
So you gotta get drunk.
Then you drunk for a spell to get.
When an identify spell is cast, there are three components: verbal, somatic, or material. Magical items subsequently touched by the wizard can be identified. The 8 hours immediately preceding the casting of the spell must be spent purifying the items and removing influences that would corrupt and blur their magical auras.
The cleansing.
If this period is interrupted, it must be begun again. The spell is cast, each item must be handled in turn by the wizard. Any consequences of this handling fall fully upon the wizard may end the spell, although the wizard is allowed any applicable saving throw. The other part, I don't need to read, and then the material. Components of the spell are pearl with at least 100 gold value, and an owl feather steeped in wine. The infusion must be drunk prior to spell casting. The luckstone is powdered. Exact bonuses or charges can be determined, and the functions of a multifunctional item can be learned from a single reading. All right. So you're going to stay up all night?
Yep.
As am I. I'm making sure he doesn't get interrupted.
House rule.
House rule.
If you guys, let's say you guys are traveling,
Okay.
and spellcasters, whether it be priest or mage, they need 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. No taking watch from the wizard or the Please.
You give them yourself for the next day, or just have what you have left over for the next day, like doing it time.
Also, I would prefer if you write down a most common learn. That way each day you don't have to tell me. It's just if you don't say what you memorize,
That's the default.
That's the default. And then if something special like this comes up, then you say, okay, instead of this, pick this thing. And the way you would do that, even though it's not that exciting, is you cast the spell of a level.
To free one.
Yeah, but then you would just ruin your own casting by doing that. Never mind. Unfortunately, what that does is it gets rid of any components, so make sure you know what spells you have that you can lose, so you're not wasting stuff. Okay. So I guess we'll go to the next day then, huh? Or is anyone going to stay up all night as well to watch?
Well, are you?
Let's get it on, like, you're fine, you gotta have 8 hours.
Well, can we do it tomorrow?
We started working on it as soon as we got back to the room.
You're the prince.
All right, from the common room.
Hang on, you get a skunk eye. Maybe you should go over a fucking ladder.
Are all of you each taking your own room?
Yes, I'm taking a room by myself.
I'm just in the common area.
Oh, you're in the common area.
Well, I did say I picked a bunk.
No, that's
And I put my stuff.
It doesn't matter where you are, just so long as you tell me where.
Okay. And because the dog is there.
No, you can be on the branch for all I care. Because what about you?
The dragon's gonna fight.
You're in a room by yourself. Okay. So from the common room, those of you that aren't there here, those of you that are in the common room, which is Gil and the dog, Benny comes out and he has
versus Benny.
he's got a ukulele and he starts playing. And he plays well and he sings an Elven song. And since you're in the vicinity, you need to roll me an intelligence check at normal chances. You went low.
18.
Did you make it or did you
I did
fail?
not.
Okay. The song affects you in the way that the song is written, and this particular song is a song that's talking about a journey starting and what's going to happen, and it's causing you to like get kind of like fired up.
Cool. I'll raise my wine and dance and jig and express my pleasure in his music.
Yes. So that was an unexpected thing.
Yeah.
Those of you in the rooms, you can hear it, but you can listen or not listen, so therefore it doesn't affect you.
But isn't it one song among many that are floating around in the branches?
Well, this is the one that's in your
In that building?
in your listening jam.
Okay. I'll definitely listen.
Yes. Okay. And then after he's done with the song, he fires up the big bowl of wheat.
Now, I don't see him doing this. I hear the music while I'm in my.
You hear it like if we were talking and you were in that room.
Right. So, do I recognize that it's him?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes.
Then I take note. That he has a beautiful, lyrical voice.
Yes. And knows how to play the ukulele.
And can sing like a mofo.
Great. Awesome. Yeah.
Duly noted.
Okay.
Let the record reflect. The record shows what.
And
I'm standing guard over Duke, I believe. If he does the thing.
oh, okay. All right. So, hearing no other things and nothing happening, we will go to the next day. And Ewan, you are tired because you're not.
Well, as
This is
soon
out
as
of-
he's done, I'm going to bed. I'm going to fuck what time it is.
You let him know when you're done.
I'm in the room.
I know, but he's a dick, so he might fucking be like,
Where you going, asshole? You done?
you tell him? Okay. So he's done. Why am I watching this guy? I'm pissing his ear.
It's all part of the spell.
Yeah.
I never swept in my.
All right. So the spell is done.
See something is
The
here.
chance of learning a piece of information about an item. When the spell is cast, each item must be handled for any consequence or never. The chance of learning a piece of information about an item is equal to 10% the level of the caster to a maximum of 90% rolled by the DM. Any roll of 96 through 100 indicates a false reading. 91 through 95 reveals nothing. Only one function of a multifunction item is discovered for handling. For example, a 5th level wizard could attempt to determine the nature of 5 different items, 5 different functions of a single item, or any combination. If any attempt at reading fails, the caster cannot learn any more about that item until he advances a level. So, I'm going to let you roll.
What?
So roll percent.
96. Never failed, right?
God damn.
But wait a minute, he doesn't know though. It gives a false reading at that number, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll make you dance.
Yeah, well.
And make it look like you have a large penis.
I can see why.
Oh,
I can see why you're not supposed to roll. So I'm.
Yeah, do your job.
This way you won't know if you fucked up the number.
Right?
All right. So I don't know if I get the correct dice that much.
No, you can just say those 2d4.
There it is. Okay. Let's see what happens.
But hang on a second. Don't you get? I don't know what level you are.
Okay.
Okay, but he gets one for every. He gets a thing
Percentage chance to learn a new thing.
per level.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will roll and write down on your hand me your notepad, and I will write down. Unless you choose to reveal all you learn when you can, in which case I'll say it out loud. Right. So it depends on how secretive you want to be. That's up to you. I don't mind. I don't mind writing it down.
We're playing. Sorry, no game experience.
You know me. Yeah.
Screw it, somebody. Careful there. Okay.
Those are real skinny blocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a real trick spot.
It will be awarded at some point.
Here's your blue participation ribbon.
Okay.
What's it?
That's our experience.
Okay.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, you'll get 4 experience points.
Yeah, blue participation.
Minus 3 for being
Everybody gets one of
too
those.
much to allow.
Nobody left behind.
And then about 5
That's
years you'll go
just
up a level.
you.
Not that I ever get bitter. Like the same fucking character for 9,000 years.
Yeah.
Please level 7 now.
Hooray!
You won't let you stand in the back and do nothing with you.
Did you shut your fucking mouth?
Okay.
Your mom would shut her fucking mouth.
That would have happened. I'd never been born. My mom's fat. She likes black guys too.
Easy. Take the boy out.
Oh, wait a minute. Too much information.
Lose you out the boy. The other thing, in gaming, like, with his games, take notes. This motherfucker will throw one tiny thing at you, and he'll use back at you a year later.
Oh, you know who that was?
And if you have it in your notes, you're good. If you don't remember it,
Now I do have a house rule where once
Or you can roll.
day, not session, but just per day the character spends. You may do a memory roll, which is a roll versus, I think it's wisdom. on the 30.
I was reading your house.
Oh, okay, and then that allows you to remember the specific detail that you're trying to. You don't make it, and you don't remember.
So he saves the non-note taker.
So it gives you a little bit of a chance, because I understand that my stories are very boring lit. Would you spring break in my back? Very layered and complex, yes. Because I don't. Sometimes they're just yes. Go
We're
there,
still
kill
falling,
it.
Paul, that's from the first game.
Those aren't my
Yeah, I know I can't remember all the cottage minutia.
The best was the other day I'm down at the gallery, walking, we're talking, and he's talking and getting stuff, he's like, he started pulling fucking radius scope.
Yeah.
And he started pulling it, no, that's not the one. And it's just like jotting shit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
I have,
What's it working, John? Shit done
There. Yeah. I have a computer.
It's got my ass on this. Not pretty much. Very good.
Anyway,
You're an office boy,
So
you deal with a lot.
you'll see I take a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you make a lot more notes.
Jim's
I
got
got
one
one page.
I have to.
I got one page.
My memory is long as my dick. I'm like, I find my way home. More than my driver's license. You can have your GPS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this looks nice.
It's
Something.
That might be.
Domestic.
That's honestly all I can think of about this thing.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
Doesn't say anything about the history of the item, but this is what you learn. If you can't read it, just let me know and I'll.
Outside the game, you understand what he's doing. He's got a magic item and he's casting another magic item to see what spells he can read off of it. What's
If I just I'll keep going. What were you saying?
what's the what would be the best resource for looking up the religion, the deity for this? Is it in deities and demigods? Would that be
For the Elven gods?
Yeah.
I would say that these demigods book would have.
Is it?
I got a bookmark.
Which book is it?
How do they have deities?
There is a second edition book that has Corellos Corinthian in it too.
I don't have my deity book. I don't know if I left it here.
It might even be in the Elves history, but probably not. I don't know.
Blue Crescent Moon. I've been reading that too because of what we were talking about earlier.
Oh,
Where's the car line? I need to give him some stupid.
And you are to this DM's knowledge, you've learned everything you can about yeah. So. And as far as
Oh, gee. I know what protection is.
you, after you cast the spell, you lose 8 points of Constitution. You must rest for 1 hour to recover each point. If the 8-point loss drops the spellcaster below a Constitution of 1, fall unconscious.
Just
So
tired.
you guys are, hey, right.
Wait now, everyone else is asleep, right?
Hey, watch over.
it happened to the one.
Okay.
I don't know. You said it was late,
I see, never mind.
but now, after he, so,
Taking that.
what did the belt tell you?
Belt told me nothing. It's a spell I cast on the belt.
I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna slap you so
Oh,
hard.
wait, the DM approves. Are you awake? I'm gonna say everyone can be awake.
Up, and are they out of the room into the common area, or are they still discussing?
I'm gonna say since they didn't say they ever left that room, that they're not.
Yeah, he just got.
Yeah, you decide.
We're waking up.
I got most of the gist of it now.
So you tell them.
Number 2. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys that got a good night's sleep, you do your morning jam. And the morning stuff for people usually consists of if something needs a minor repair, you can try to fix it, sharpening blades, checking your arrows, getting food. In Gil's case, obviously it would be letting the dog out, or the dog, where you live, obviously the dog can go and come and sleep. Here, you have to
Take it down.
Yeah. Praying, if you are a religious person, probably happens somewhat. And another house rule is if you show piety, prepared to show piety, you can invoke your God's name once a day to get a +1 to any roll. And that is just because you're God's name. So you're like, oh, got my head! And then it's like, oh, I'm going to use my +1 to do whatever. Make my proficiency roll or the kid. Whatever. So, and you can choose not to be religious. In the Thursday game, there's 3 characters that are religious. You don't get to do that. I'm like, well, there you go. If you're going to worship something in D&D, it should amount to something rather than, in my opinion, I'm not super.
Well, in that vein, as I look out the window for the opening that has copy class.
Now they do have shutters.
Well, I open up to let the air in, and I'm stretching on the porch, and I say, Scary has a new day ahead of us, and blesses the forest.
Suggest that,
Life is
your
good.
suggestion is that somebody
And
actually
I-
take on
Hey, you wanna go downstairs and take the dog out with me, or what you got going on?
and let them make it.
Wait, you just walk into his room?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you're sitting there, who knows, you could be in a state of undress, or, I don't know, but anyway, this other guy walks in. I'm just saying, I don't, that part of your relationship.
private time.
I'm only describing the scene.
No!
Yeah, and the scene was, you barged in. So,
You didn't say there were doors on that sheet.
yes, there are doors on
You just said there were rooms off of the main
the
room.
DM is going to say there. Because there's got to be
In that
there's female arms too.
In that case,
So, you know, I'm going
Hey,
to
Leo,
say,
are you up?
yeah, I'm going to say female elves are very similar to most female humans, as they don't want people just looking at them when they're naked. So. Or even brushing their hair sometimes. Yeah! Yeah.
Depends on how many strokes.
Depends on how long you're married. How many strokes? He needs all this fucking debauchery. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay, so there's a knock on your door.
Am I awake?
Yes.
Okay, I say.
Is it originally?
Okay.
And I did. Hey, Leo, I'm heading downstairs. What are you up to? You want to take a walk?
I'm not doing anything, so
See if we can find you a sword.
I will do it in the morning.
So we do.
Okay, very good.
With no fanfare, we just go downstairs, take the lift.
The only thing that happens
Go to
is,
the armory.
When you say go downstairs, you're talking about going to the ground,
Yes,
all the way.
to the
No,
ground.
you go to the Royal Armory.
We'll do that too.
who are you talking to? Nobody's there.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Okay, so both of you roll charisma checks on 20. You want lower or equal to?
15,
This on.
I got none. Christmas tree.
and my mine is a 10. I rolled a 15.
Okay, so you made it. As you are going down, there is a lady elf, and she appears, as most lady elves do, naked, attractive, clothed. But she gives you the subtle glance of, you are an attractive creature. And in the Elven community, it is thought of as not only a compliment, but as a matter of fact that you acknowledge something that, in your opinion, you do. Do you give her the acknowledgement, or do you just run?
I will acknowledge her as well.
Okay. And you keep going, or do you stop and engage with this person?
At the moment, I'm traveling with Gil, so I will be following.
Do I notice the interaction
Well, we level check. That's what this is for.
on each one?
No, 30.
And I think that would be a mistake.
No, you do not notice the glance.
I'm still walking, patting the
It would be nice to
dog.
have that kind of strength. At least-
Okay. And that's really the only out of the ordinary thing that happens with you two. After you do the thing with the dog, and he stretches his legs like those,
That says it's
then
fine.
it comes back over.
All right, and now we're gonna go find him.
All right.
Whenever you guys get done, and you're fucking around in your little land,
You haven't been
you come
sleeping.
back and we're talking. Yes, we've slept.
No.
No, we're sleeping, and they're out doing their thing, and then whenever they get done, we'll be back awake, and then we're gonna
I
chat.
don't know, they only are gone for like a half an hour.
Bullshit, it takes half an hour to come down 700 fucking foot tall tree.
No, you told me.
Elevator. Gravity still works.
Well, I got down real fast.
Yeah.
Aren't we in Featherfall?
I don't know what they're doing. We were talking, but I don't want to do it. I don't want he and I to game because it's a conversation that we're going to have with everybody. So I'm just whatever that is.
Okay, so here's the timeline at the end
But I
of
don't want to
the
interrupt what you're doing.
You finished your spell while you were watching over. You guys woke up,
Mm-hmm.
did your morning jam, which takes half an hour.
Okay.
Then
On
you
our-
went,
on our
got
way.
in, and you went downstairs.
Yeah.
That takes another half hour to go all the way down.
Fantastic. And then the dog exercises.
And then it takes.
When we're out long enough doing that, do we notice that, like, the people in the building, or is there a person where we can say, hey, you got a sword for sale? Or is that upstairs?
Let's see.
in
Let's
the-
see. Yes, he says, not here, but if you go up, and he points, he stands at a certain place, and he points up the tree,
Mhm.
and he says, count up 6 branches, and then you see the branch right there with the house on it that is almost white.
Oh,
You
yeah, that
see
one,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
It stands out.
Right past that.
Don't move it.
Right past that is the weapons.
Thank you very much. So then we proceed on the list.
Okay. So after you are done with the spell and you tell him what you learned,
Yes.
what are you going to do?
I tell him that I'm tired and let's get some rest so I can be refreshed, and then we'll talk about this with the people, with our crew.
Okay. And then
Hey, get some sleep. You look like shit. Thank you for letting me watch you do your magic.
No problem, learn anything?
I did.
Good times.
okay.
I said that with my eye.
And then you go to your room and go to sleep.
Yes. And I locked the door, so wayward ranger doesn't walk in.
What actually happens is you do the what's called the reverie.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
No, you
It's kind of like you're in trance. I think it's just a way of not being surprised. It's easy. I'm not sure. So anyway, and you do the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys go to the weapons.
We do.
And you can see that there is, it's not a weaponsmith at all because there's no forge. But what there is swords that are there for sale.
Okay.
Swords and say,
Look around and pick out the kind of sword that you know how to use, and get yourself a sword because we're going to be on the road for a while, man.
There are 20 swords to pick from. There are 6 long swords, 6 short swords, and then like 1 or 2 each of some unusual ones. Like there's one that's got like a wavy blade that is a short sword, but it's got a wavy blade for some reason. And then there's a long sword that has a hilt that has like a sharpened edges for some reason. And then there's like 2 daggers there that one looks like a plain old dagger and another one looks like it's more for ceremony because it's put a jewel encrusted hilt. So there's not a ton of things, but there's several things. And if you want to purchase something, it would just be the book price.
And I guess I'll ask the store owner about that week.
The elf that is running the store, he has his hair is cut flat on his brow and off his ears, but it goes down past his neck and the back. He's almost, he's wearing glasses, which is unusual, and he appears like he's missing one of his teeth, which is awesome. He's wearing a nice shirt, one that probably was nicer at one point. His pants are fairly average. And when he speaks, he's got like that whistle that is annoying because of his missing tooth.
Sunday?
Yeah, like that. Now that you said it, let's not do that anymore. So let's do it all.
I like experience.
Tell me, I don't know what this motherfucker's buttons are.
He wrote the first chapter on how to dig yourself to your death. Do everything he hates, and then beg,
That's why I get 4
beg for more experience. Okay, so he sees you looking at the sword, and you have to ask him something.
I say, hey, what's the story about this week?
Wavy short sword.
He says, this blade was carried by one of the assassins that attempted to kill King Randall L 300 years ago. It is, if it is named, no one knows what it is. And if it is magical, I haven't tested it for that. All I can say is it has a dark past. However, you got a printer over there?
It's your phone.
Well, the sword itself, however, I can tell you I've never had any issue with it. I've never had anyone since then say anything bad about it. I feel like it is just a good conscience to tell you part of the history of that story. Possibly you would not be the first elf to assume such. However,
It's kind of neat looking. It's unique.
if you would like to purchase it, I will sell it for half.
For you, I got a special deal.
Or, how about I will give it to you for free?
Oh, you're talking pretty good language there, mister.
Well, I was going to ask you to help me carry these ingots, but on second thought, I decided that it would probably be a fair trade for you to just take. But you have to promise not to return.
Is there some kind of curse on this blade? Are you being totally honest
Not,
with
no,
us?
I am being totally honest. I just don't like what's associated with
No.
it. And the DM will tell you it's basically the serial killer house rule or whatever that is, where you have to tell if someone was murdered in the house where you fight. Does that sound familiar to you? I think that's a thing.
I know it's a thing that if the house has like a lab in it, you have to.
Okay, well, it's like that. So the
Disclose.
lab could be gone, but never.
Serial killer role.
I'm gonna look that up now.
You don't know that.
Well,
But anyway, that's the point I'm trying to get across.
Huh.
And this guy isn't giving off any kind of vibe that he's trying to pull fast.
Yeah, the guy with glasses that no one else wears.
Yeah,
The guy with the
Busted
shoes
tooth.
that no one else has. It isn't giving you any creepy feelings about this.
Can I help it
The
if I?
sword that he's going to give to you as long as you never bring it back.
Yeah, that
I
makes
know,
sense.
there's nothing bad about that at all.
I mean,
Can I help
Yeah,
it?
what
What
else do I?
is painting a good picture here? That's all I'm trying to do.
well, I mean, a free sword.
Yeah, because everything in life is free.
Well, I
It
mean,
isn't free. Shit.
I give him the wordless
Some-
look over.
Some
to
states
see if
require
he's-
you to disclose that there has been a death in your stigmatized property. That's what it's called. Okay.
There was a death in the house I bought.
And did they tell you?
Your soul.
No, they didn't tell me, but the neighbors did. There was an explosion in the basement.
Maybe Missouri doesn't do that.
Right. Yeah, there was an explosion in the basement. My neighbor was like, "Yeah, man, there was pieces of that guy all over here." I'm like, oh,
What the hell is going
Like this?
no, it was
on?
the holding tank. The plumber was there, apparently like putting in some new piping or something, and he was pressurizing the tank to try and like clear the water out of the
Set
system.
up all the,
But it basically clogged, and it was building pressure, and he was unaware apparently until it went.
Brother-in-law deals.
And yeah, he was standing right next to it, and it ripped him to shreds.
I think I got the hot water heater fixed, but I'm not sure. We gotta let it build up the steam.
That's
Okay,
terrible.
so Leo.
well,
You blow up.
it's a free sword,
Blow it up real
so
good.
I think that sounds like a pretty good deal, whether not to curse the sword or not, so I think I'll take it.
There you go. He hands you the sword.
Okay.
And then poof,
So there you
disappeared.
go.
No. All he does,
And then you have a fear, and then shadow of a black dragonfly.
all he does is give you a look of congratulations.
Thank God.
That sounds like,
What have you kids, boy?
As far as game mechanics go, it is equal to a short sword in every arm. So,
Just
as
you.
far as the curse goes, reveal it at the worst possible moment.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel like victory is within your grasp,
You
will lose.
Just when just when that pretty elf girl starts coming on to you, you're gonna cut something.
I don't know why I did that. Please stop it! I think you're too pretty. Why are you
Bilbo thought that was a pretty ring, too. There wasn't any baggage for that.
Oh, that's a horrible thought.
Alright.
Did you say there was no baggins with that?
Baggage.
That was the horrible
Yeah, I
thought.
know.
It's something
But
about
I took the batteries out of my air alarm because I needed to be around.
Thank you. You know, I hate that thing.
Looking nerd, yeah.
What's worse than a nerd?
It's a text.
You guys hang out with a nerd.
It's a text.
Tell us a story, fellow nerd.
Back in the day with my Commodore 64.
Okay. So you got the sword.
Alright, we accomplished that. cool. So I guess we work our way back. Yeah, heading back up to the
Okay.
house.
So it takes 40 minutes to go back up. Takes a half hour to get down, 40 to get back
And
up.
we spent a few minutes talking to the vendor there, and we get back up, and there's loaded dime.
Nobody is in the common room at
and
this time.
Featherfall.
Nobody is in the common room.
Okay.
That sounds like some good drink.
They dime.
Something that you get down.
But shortly after you walk back in, yes,
All fucking India.
Lodi and Benny do come to the common room, and they both have cups, and they both sit in the big comfy chairs, and Benny starts to fire one up. And then they're looking around,
It's the post-breakfast.
Does Benny let one go out?
Huh?
Does Benny let one go out?
He's the chains in here.
and Benny's like, "Morning, guys."
Good morning, man. Hey, where do they serve the breakfast?
Right here.
Second girl showed up. Oh, it's you.
He says, "Well, we have lots of choices. We can ask for the lady to bring us some food, or we can go someplace and try some of the local cuisine. What do you want to do?"
Let's wait till Pregnanny comes back. And I forgot her name.
Brad, Nitty?
I forgot her name. Did she tell me anything?
She did.
I didn't write that down.
There's no reason to.
Here's a question for the DM.
Yeah.
I was looking at the free forums, and people all put their thing. Is it an assumption in Skell that everyone knows how to read and write?
No.
I didn't think so. So Gil will not be posting anything because he can't write.
Nice.
That wouldn't be the reason.
Darrow just post saying that Gil did this stuff.
Right.
And Gil won't be
That's
posting.
right. He can't read the forums either.
Survey says. Survey says.
Cash, laptop.
Okay, so he says, "I don't know who you're talking about."
The serving wench
That was a serving one.
that
You mean-
brought me the
I mean
wine.
the concierge. Oh, I didn't get her name either.
Yeah. But she'll be back, I
You
guess.
got mine.
He says,
I didn't know her 9 months ago.
let me go see if I can find some." And he walks out of the
I'm gonna relax.
A trail of smoke follows him out.
Oh, we have a new pope.
Meanwhile, Lodi just kind of looks over and gives him a nod, takes another drink of whatever it is he's drinking.
Don't eat her, but.
He looks over at you two and he's like,
You won't be able to tell if something's wrong.
points to the rooms. He's like,
Let me check on that. So,
"What is it?"
Some of the worst. Who is it?
Which door do you knock on?
I don't know who went in what room.
So he's not going to make the doors and find out where we're at.
I'm like,
Even
like, oh, you guys awake?
okay, you knock on Ewan's door. There's a knocking at your door. You went in.
Are you awake in there?
You were just starting to.
I do the eye like in Excalibur.
There's the door.
His eyes are red.
Yeah.
With his eyes red.
See, I don't want to interrupt their
Is that what he-
sleep.
is that
I
what
don't
he
know
has
what they've
to
been
do?
doing.
I know, you don't.
I open the door.
Hey, you okay? What? Are you all right? What? Where's everybody's up? I was worried. Are you okay?
We're not.
All right.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
So,
What time is it?
Okay, Brad, Mark is
So it's
knocking
about there.
Okay.
We got this fucking lazy dick.
I didn't know Priest slept all day.
Fuckers.
Mark does a knock on the door.
Somebody's
Do
being
you do anything about
No.
I go back to the room and I tell Loretta it's
it? You tell Loretta.
they're sleeping. I guess they're sleeping.
Lodi.
Yeah, Lodi.
Cody.
Okay.
I've got it written down, but I'm not wearing my
That's all right. I know. Your last name is so you tell me your last name.
Featherfall.
How do you like that around? I can't hear you.
Lincoln.
Blink,
What's
baby.
Blink man. I think that was from the ghost on Batman one.
We started.
Little Dick? What's it? Alright, so it's 5. That's good enough. We got to a good start. I'm happy with that. I will add experience points on here, and then whenever you go to I'll put you out on your sheets. Don't have to worry about that. If you wish to earn extra experience points, you would do something that would contribute to the game. Some people like to. No. Some people like to do a game recap on the forums from their character's point of view. That's always good. Some people
Why
like
don't you just
to-
write up your point of view, I guess, of all bullshit that won.
As far as that goes, people write up stories about how they got their non-weapon proficiencies before they started adventuring. That's always a good one.
Yeah. Like how did you become trained in the short sword?
And you've written that something like that already. If you could tweak that, then we put that in the forums under character backstories, and that's just how you started. Then we'll get into other stuff and other stuff.
On the forums, how do you actually, did you click on that create a thread? Is that how you start something?
Yes.
And you can start a thread just with your name and then just keep adding to it.
And if it's in the wrong area, don't get excited. I can move it. Not a big deal.
You still have found my way around yet.
Me neither.
Shit.
No, it's like-
I literally,
I know.
when I started reading this, I'm like,
Shingles?
No.
Oh,
Shit.
what? Blackfeet?
An attraction to children. Do you still have my books?
Australia.
He's still playing.
Yeah.
Do you have my book on, what was character? The first one.
I have a big notebook full of things.
That's what I wrote per person. I mean, it's like a 3-ring binder that's just full of stories.
He's like 4.
Yeah.
No, he's Percival.
Right, motherfucker.
Percival made it up to 15.
Yeah.
He's dead now.
So
Well,
that's what
I'll give you like
happens.
a jump.
Yeah, like a human.
All right, so that's it.
Fun, fun.
We're about ready to see in front of the castle.
Hopefully, every 2 weeks is doable for everyone here.
Do something to help.
Especially since next week I would shut up over,
Fuck. What the? Hey.
which is probably part of your plan.
No.
This
This ain't burnt smells anymore.
Just walk in.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's happening in the fucking trailer.
I wish you guys would do that right here on the front porch of showing up in my uniform. It's quite.
The best was Bradshaw leaning in the doorway on Pirate fucking Boulevard, broke off his ass as I drive by in the patrol car. He goes, "Didn't know it's me. Just flipping off all the police to drive by." But he was smiling.
Move, G.
Classic, man.
Well, hey, Goose, I know it's you.
You? Yeah, it's me. Get in the fucking house. Oh my god.
The time I flipped you off is the only time I've ever flipped off a police officer. Remember my black van? I first got that black van, and Jim had never seen it, and we were both coming up the hill from House Springs on Highway 30, and you were in your squad car,
Yeah.
and I did this, where my hand was blocked, our faces were blocked,
Right.
and he's like, ears turning red, and then I drop it, and you,
That's great.
I was a similar story. I was coming up, this fucking van came flying up on me behind. I'm like, what in the fuck is this guy's problem? And I'm going on. This is where Kmart used to be. And this van's doing this shit back and forth, and it comes around and I look over to the left, and this fucking hairhead has got an Uzi in his hand. And it's one of the undercover narc cops. I'm like, you motherfucker, you scared the shit out of me.
He's really playing the part.
Thank you for listening to episode 1 of the Emerald Throne. We appreciate it. Every 2 weeks, hopefully, we will bring you a new part of the story. And if you have questions or comments, there's YouTube, there's worldofskell.freeforums.net, and there's rpg.feedbrief.com. You can get files at all those places. And that's all. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Well,
I got
Something?
buku graph paper in case.
Okay. That must be where I got it, because when you pull that out, I'm like, I have that exact same covered.
This?
Yeah, I have one of those in my box.
I got one that the paper is probably from
1973.
70, 78, 79.
Look at the fuck at the graphs.
look,
It disappeared almost.
this is one of my original notebooks, but
Yeah. Is that one you took in class?
for all of them. I had all my hit points and stuff in the last one.
Yeah.
May I open this?
Oh yeah, it's yours.
What is it? New screen?
Dungeon tiles.
I don't know what that is.
It's just for setting down in case you want to do,
Maps.
in case I don't want to draw it. Then, apparently there's lots of these.
It's the scale with the.
I'll have to
One inch graph, yeah. I noticed you got 2-inch by 1-inch squares, which is, I have an overlay, a plastic grid with 1-inch squares on it.
Did I get you that?
No, Red got me that.
Red got
when he used to
Mhm.
move stuff.
Is that what it was?
You're good.
I just remember it being in the trailer.
Well, I first gave it to him.
$35.
I had it in the trailer.
You want to put your character sheet in there?
No, yeah, it was like leaned up against it. It's not like where you could go there. It definitely went flat. And then occasionally,
Box.
if you wanted to do something,
pulled it out, right?
Yeah, you laid it
Unless
out.
you want
If I remember right.
I don't remember that.
warm stuff, that's a.
Do not remember that.
Oh, I see. It's got.
Now, the other cool thing about writing stuff, Lee, is any of that kind of stuff that you put in there about, you'll use that too. That'll be something, it'll hook you with some of the shit that you write, which is fun.
Unless, of course, you're the recipient.
Sometimes it's
Water, maybe it's
Unless your name's Chikara, or whatever.
Oh, there we go.
So we see work out that way. Oh, Mark's got the fireball. Where's your car? Oh, right in front of it.
Oh, what
How in the hell?
Why is he always right there?
Viscount Haystack.
Yep.
I smell burning more berry.
Yeah, I pulled that out of my box the other day, and I'm like, where did you even get that? I don't know. And it's like, looks
This, I think it's probably one of the Walmart things, because
maybe.
this one is one my eldest daughter had.
Oh,
Back in her high school days.
Oh.
Right on, thanks.
that holds quite a
Thank
bit.
you for watching, all 9 of you. We appreciate it. Don't get to see him.
Room for more.
What'd you say? Don't get to see him.
No, tonight.
All right, you turn it off. Oh, we don't remember? That's our deal.
Good deal.
No, Jim.